Hello, everyone. Welcome back. I'm Bill Brown. I am joined none other with a couple other guests that we usually have. We got Paul.
Hey guys, how you doing?
We also have Flair.
Hello.
Champ. There he is. All right. So how you boys been? How's everything been? How you guys been vibing?
Doing good. I'm gonna let Flair go first because Flair, you haven't been on the show in a little while.
It's been a minute.
That is quite true. The vibes have been very well.
Okay.
Been a little bit more busier than lately than usual, but been able to still try to keep up with things as well as I possibly could be.
How's the gaming industry?
That gaming industry is booming for me right now.
Hey, let's go.
There you go, man.
As being oh shoot, I was talking about like the gaming industry in general because fighting games are up right now.
Well, they do.
Well, I mean, yeah, that, but I meant your work.
Yeah, I just put that together too.
Nice.
It's like, oh right, I do count. Correct. My bad.
Yeah, that's actually been going fairly well too. I've switched to a new position for I think this is my 5th time.
Oh,
Now I'm actually programming as what my degree gave me, so I get a chance to actually be a software developer now, and that's what I've been doing at the company. I don't really work on the game side yet, but I do work on the back end and front end side. So more of an engineer, not a game developer.
I get it.
But still,
So, like, do you work on like the game engine, or like what does the software developer do?
so
I'm not aware of any of it.
the game itself is built in Unity. So essentially, I build the front end that calls the game and actually runs the game onto the terminal and the hardware that we have our games on, because we sell cabinets. So it's my job to make sure that the communication between the cabinet and the machine and to the games are all aligned up and working correctly, along with
Gotcha.
the front end to display like all the different games we have on the cabinets.
Yep. It's a deal.
Sounds cool.
It is. That's always a vibe. Alright. So, we'll get into it because this one isn't going to really be a long one. So, we'll see what we got to chat about. What you guys been messing around with? What you guys been playing? Or, watching or anything else?
See, I thought that's what I was passing the torch to Flair for.
Oh,
but, so you keep going. I like I said, you haven't been on the show in a little while.
Okay.
By all means, man.
Oh, all right, then I'll take the lead on this one then. And I'll say a lot of my time has been devoted to 2 games specifically, and that would be Octopath Traveler 2 and Wolong Fallen Dynasty.
Okay, so you started playing that. Good.
Yes.
How is it?
It is pretty great, and I find that the comparisons of it being pretty much a fusion of Sekiro and Nioh are pretty spot on. Because the gameplay feels very much the same. Like, you find yourself doing nothing but parrying, and if you're not parrying, you're playing the game wrong.
No, I did see that game gave you options. Like, you have like a crap ton of like moves that you could do in that game as far as like defensive wise goes. Because you have parrying. You can parry, but you can also, blocking is a different button. So you can hold the block and also parry at the same time if you need to.
So like the parry is attached to your dodge technically. So you do have a block button. I don't know why you'd ever use it, but
for that exact instance I just talked about, where it's like you hold block and you parry, and if you fuck up, you blocked.
True. It's just that, like, damn, like if like to get used to parrying, you really but you're like, it's kind of weird to block. You know what I'm saying? So like, in some situations you have to. Like, I've run into a couple. Where you do, but like it's a scary game. Like some of the boss fights get pretty intriguing, because I would say the game doesn't overall feel like as horribly difficult in the boss fights as Nioh is. Sometimes can be, but every boss does feel challenging, and I feel like it's mostly because of the need to parry. Because
Okay.
some of the bosses just have like one hit KO attacks that are just gonna kill you. There's nothing you can do about it. And if they don't kill you, they will kill you eventually because they usually have some sort of secondary effect that causes damage to you.
Okay.
Are there any bosses like what was the fire demon in Sekiro? How it kind of felt like it was a Bloodborne boss in Sekiro, so you shouldn't parry that. You should run, but it doesn't work that well. But it also works.
I would say so. I have run into a boss. I'm not really going to go into too much details that are just way off the cuff of like what is usually in games like this. That just made me wonder why the am I fighting this? I think I should be like Dante from Devil May Cry or something right now.
Why is my relatively normal ass dude fighting this? why is this what we're going against right now?
Like the thing was quite literally the size of a building.
Oh, wow.
And I was chopping ankles.
That's all I could do.
Like Elden Ring with the giant.
Yeah, I mean, like, see, I was gonna start off Wolong, honestly. I literally was about to, but playing on a Game Pass on PC, they still have to work out some things with PC because I went to start it up, made my character, game crashed twice. I was like, alright, I'll wait till the patch. I literally, Taylor was like, hey man, wait for the patch. I was like, I'll be fine, right? I can get around it. I mean, it's free right now. I'm playing for the Game Pass. It's like, I'll play it. If it's running a little choppy, I'll be okay. I was like, couldn't even get into the game. Just created a character. I was like, alright, it's there. Like, I went back, started the game back up just to see. My character was saved, still on the menu screen, and I was like, that's all I needed. I'll just wait. As long as I don't gotta remake my character, we straight. I'll just wait for that patch. Because it's not letting me in. So I was like, alright, cool.
That's the one thing that sucks about PC sometimes is that don't no game launch on PC good at all.
Unless it's made for it. Yeah, nah.
Like, that's the only
Even
way.
then, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, technically, Cyberpunk was made for PCs. It screwed up on everything else, but on PC, it didn't work. And it was like, all right.
It worked better than it did on anything else, though.
It did, but that's what I'm
those are
saying.
the
Is
two,
like,
yeah.
it still, like, was a broken kind of... It's not
It was
really
still
what
a
it should have
broken
been.
game, yeah. But yeah, definitely, for sure. Wulong is crazy. It looks crazy. I was watching gameplay for it, and I was like, I'm gonna play this. I'm not gonna beat it. It's just one of those games. Because I ain't beat Neo 2 yet. But I was enjoying it. It's weird. I can definitely play through the Dark Souls series, right? Like, I've beaten almost every single one of them, with the exception of 2, just because I just stopped. And Bloodborne. I haven't beaten Bloodborne, technically.
Really?
Like, basically, technically speaking, I have the skill set to do it because I went and beat the Orphan of Cost. Like, I did the whole DLC and everything. But, like, I just haven't beaten the base game of Bloodborne. I've seen the endings and stuff like that because I've watched other people play it, but I've never beaten it.
Okay.
It's partially to the fact that, like, I kind of gated myself off to, like, other weapons pretty early because I found the spike, spike, and I really like it. Like, I really like using the spike, but at the same time, that's not the best weapon when dealing with a lot of these things that you have to deal with in that game. It's like it's basically I have a little knife on my hand I swing, and sometimes I get to do a big hit, and I like that. But like at the same time, I'm like, nah, yeah, these people in Bloodborne do not care as much.
Was there a reason why you chose like the little knife, or?
Well, it's a power bunker. That's why, because it's like you get to literally. It's because it's a punch weapon that you get to cock back, charge up, and do a powerful hit. It's a big explosion. They stun the crap out of anybody almost if you could hit it. But everything in that game dodges so much that it's like it's not you have to time it obviously, and it's not like you couldn't do it. It's just I know going into certain fights, so I'm like, yeah, I'm not at the best advantage going into this. But I enjoy using it. But the other thing was just Bloodborne is a little strange to me. I like playing as the hunter. Like the hunter in Bloodborne is the funnest Dark Souls character to play, in my opinion. But like the bosses in there are so wild and sporadic in some instances that I actually like. I understand why you have that level of movement, but it also kind of like takes the fun out of it a little bit for me.
I could see that.
Because I like fight. Because like I think everyone has said this before, but the coolest fights in Bloodborne are when you're fighting other hunters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's like when you're fighting a beast that's like, I'm gonna throw this out and then throw this out and do a backflip that's like impossible for most things that size. And it's like, fine, whatever.
Fight Ludwig yet or go in the DLC?
But like in Dark Souls, for instance, I like Dark Souls bosses more, but I like Bloodborne's like player character way more. And if you like could combine those, you'd have like the perfect Dark Souls game to me. Like it'd be sick.
I gotcha.
Which is kind of why Elden Ring does a really great job, because it doesn't fully mesh that, but like it does some stuff that allows you to kind of do it. You know what I mean? Like Bloodhound Step, for instance, and like the little dash. It's like, oh, okay, that's kind of cool. It's kind of sick.
Had to be nerfed.
It had to be nerfed. It's too powerful.
Fair.
I was looking at it and I was sad that it got nerfed too.
Did everybody here beat the game using it?
A lot of people did. I did not. I didn't use it.
I did not either. I used some other different OP strategy.
It made me mad though because I wanted to use it. Oh yeah, you best believe I had a knife build. I used blood. That blood loss, using that.
You know what I figured out just yesterday that I should have done in the playthrough is if you get the Scarlet Rot dog, I don't know why I never put this together, but he moves, he attacks, he bites, you know, and he puts Scarlet Rot on your bosses so they're constant heavy poison. I was like, why did I not think of this, you know?
Scarlet Rot was the other thing. Like I went through that whole game just collecting knives, and apparently there's like a knife for almost every every one of those things. So I was like, all right. So I found the Reduvia real early because, you know, it's the one that you get from the dude that invades, and you're like, oh shit, fuck that guy up, give me my shit. It's like then later on you get like the black knife, which is crazy because it has the mark of death, right? And then like I got the Scarlet Rot dagger, which isn't as good as the black knife. Because the black knife reduces their health pool for a while and then poisons them. And I'm like, ooh.
Where you find this at?
Yeah, you can the black knife is from, I think it's a very specific one in I can't remember. It's like the gold area.
It's like a dungeon. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's you gotta go to it, and like homeboy is chilling outside of the dungeon. It's in the third area of the game. Third area of the game, because it's Limgrave. Then you have like obviously you have the two on the side. Fourth, it's up there towards the top of the map where it becomes gold. You know the area. I just can't remember the name.
Landau?
I think it's Lindell. Just
capital, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. It's not. Yes, it is. It's the area of the capital, but not in the capital specifically per se. But there's like a dungeon up there when you first get in. There's a black knight sitting outside chilling. She's vibing. You go beat her. She drops the dagger, and you're like, "I bet I needed that."
Okay.
But yeah, if you use it, it reduces the health of characters while poisoning them. And then if you did Scarlet Rot or Bleed on top of them,
they're just dead.
It destroys, it murders. And so I was just running into boss fights with like the black knife on one hand, throwing the little energy thing out, then switching to like just the Reduvia and the Scarlet Rot one. We're just going like, all right, we just swinging, and we're just gonna see how much we take off before that black thing wears off. It's like the death mark. Yeah, it was a death mark. He was like, we're just to see how much the death mark takes off while I'm doing this. And then whenever it ran out, I was like, all right, time to re-up. Switch back. Back in there. I'm like, I'm fighting giant gods with tiny knives, bro. Not allowed to. He's like, I'm doing whatever it takes.
True.
It was a good build, though. It was fun. It was actually really fun. I think you're doing something similar.
Game I actually cheesed a little bit.
See, that's the thing. I was gonna say I think you're doing a similar thing, like as far as like what I was doing, because you have you're doing the thief build right now. So
I'll tell Flair about that, and when I go in my turn, I won't talk your ear off on that.
So I'm like, for sure, use your use find some good knives. There's some good
Yeah.
knives in the game.
For the love of God, find them.
But yeah, Flair, go ahead, continue about your the stuff that you was messing around with, bro.
Oh, other than that, well, besides like Wolong and Octopath, strangely enough, one of my favorite games of this year is easily that Final Fantasy rhythm game.
Oh yeah,
Crazy
that did
enough.
come out.
Mm-hmm. I was playing the heck out of that up until that and Harry Potter released because they were around the
Mm.
same week. And the amount of music in that game and is going to be in that game is very ridiculous.
What
If
is it
Square
called? It's
was in
Final
the
Fantasy.
name, it actually doesn't have Final Fantasy in the title at all. It's just called like Theatrhythm. Theatrhythm? Yeah, something like
Yeah,
Oh,
that.
it's a
that
weird.
game.
Yeah,
Okay.
Final bar. Yeah, it's really weird looking, but the music is fantastic, as all things Square is anyway.
to be fair, yeah, it makes sense that it doesn't have Final Fantasy in the name because all the characters it has in it is like more and music. It's way more than just Final Fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
They have Nier music in there, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they
Oh,
have
cool.
from both Niers.
Both Niers, Kingdom
Um,
Hearts.
Sadly, no Kingdom Hearts.
No Kingdom Hearts. It'll be
Oh, that
DLC.
makes sense. It'd be their in the Kingdom Hearts rhythm game, right?
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna put any like Kingdom Hearts touching stuff in here at all.
Because they
Dang.
used to. They used to. Those games used to
Uh,
have them in there, if I'm not mistaken.
Simple and clean for the 9,000th time, bro. It never gets
I
old.
mean, if they
Basically, every Final Fantasy game, if I'm not mistaken, is in there as well.
mm-hmm. Chrono Trigger as well is going to be
Mm.
DLC, and a couple of games that I've never even heard of, like Live Alive and
Oh, Level Up came out recently. It's
Mhm.
like it's cool. I would suggest trying it. I think they remade it pretty much is the deal, and it looks like I think they remade it in the same style as Octopath.
Mhm.
It looks
Hmm.
crazy.
That game,
I'll
okay.
give it a shot.
Yeah, I was intrigued by that.
It's pretty interesting then.
And then I don't know if there's anything else, but it's pretty much just from almost any Square property. They're just
Mhm.
like fucking just throw in the song.
Put like that.
Do you like our music? We made a game for you.
Take my money. But they did definitely ask for money. Jesus.
Oh, and I heard that they're gonna be having the songs from 16 in there as well.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna be putting those in. I'm like, damn, that's wild.
Already?
And they're not. It's gonna be DLC, but that's what they're gonna put in.
Mhm.
And 16 is almost done. That game looks fucking amazing, bro. We're
I
good to that.
cannot wait. Like
I'm gonna. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say as soon as I saw it, all I thought was Final Fantasy May Cry. Like,
Yeah.
It's so clean looking.
I already have a plan for it. So since I don't have a PS5, I'm waiting on the PC release. I know very well Pele is probably going to buy it, and if I just happen to mention it one day, he's going to ask if I want to borrow his console, and I'm going to take him up on that offer.
That's fair.
that is a fair statement. Especially
Damn,
with
need
the
that game.
rumors of the PS5 Pro coming out in September.
Man, F that rumor. Though I did say, I'm not gonna front. I did say when the PS5 came out that I'm looking forward to getting the Pro at some point because I need this thing to be smaller. But man, at the same time, I'm mad that it's coming out because it's like people just got the chance to actually get it normally. Like they just got the chance.
Yeah.
You're kind of shooting yourself in your foot, Sony. Don't release it. Not this year. Not this year.
Give it some time. There's not an Xbox Series XS or something yet.
Which is the one console I thought that they were going to be pushing out more like that, if that makes any sense. Because of the way they
Oh,
talked
yeah.
about it. It was supposed to be completely backwards compatible. You know, it doesn't matter. It's more like you just wanted better specs more than anything else. But like everything that they make from this point on will work on them. Which is why I'm like, interesting that they haven't put out another one yet.
Mhm.
Very interesting. At least a stronger one. You know what I mean? Just
Yeah.
something to be
Yeah.
like, hey, look, it's nicer. It does the same stuff.
Well, I heard because of all the backwards compatibility thing that they're pushing for, there's a lot of issues with the Series S, like not performing well, or it's like limiting next gen games, and so developers, what was I think it's some game coming out. They've pushed the release of it on Series X or Series S and Xbox back because of that. I can't remember what it was though.
Mm.
I can't remember either. But
Theater Rhythm.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
like theater rhythm.
theater rhythm. But
Anything else for it?
honestly, when it comes to like games, that's pretty much it. I've already discussed with you a little bit already. Finally started really getting into the Cosmere and digging deep into the Starlight Archive.
Starlight Archives be hitting.
Just finished Words of Radiance this Friday. Hopefully, going to be starting Book 3 Oathbringer tomorrow. And
Gotcha.
that series is just freaking amazing. And then I also heard that there's a board game for it that I'm definitely going to have to try.
I'll be joining you guys with that series by the end of the year. No worries.
Yeah, he's about to. He's real close to finishing up Malazan.
Yeah, I'll talk about that in a little bit. What do you like about the Cosmere the most?
Honestly, what I always like about the Cosmere is more of like, honestly, it's more of Brandon Sanderson's writing style. Like the types of characters he likes to really focus on, and like always the interesting power systems that go along in his books as well. His writing style is also also kind of invigorating with the way he bounces around between like a couple different characters' perspective, but you always feel like you feel like you know who the main character is, and and how it builds a bunch of separate stories into a singular story.
Oh yeah, that is as on like the fourth book now. The thing that I've noticed is that each book has a main character. Actually, so the first book was Kaladin, the second book is Shalon. Look forward to this, Flair. But the third book is Dalinar.
With the name being Oathbringer, I guessed a little bit.
Yeah. So it's just each one of them is like more focused on in a singular book. We still jump around, which is clean.
I gotcha. Okay, so that sounds like a little bit of what Erickson does, although his is like, he focuses like 4 or 5 main people, but then you've got a bunch of other ones that you keep hopping to.
I feel it.
But yeah,
might as well do this for the podcast. Favorite character, go.
Did this to me. Gotta stay strong and still gonna say I think it's still Dalinar.
There you
go. I think it is still Dalinar. That man is ridiculous. That is the man's man right there. Like there's him and there's Chuck Norris, and they're like just standing there side by side.
I'm glad you think that. That opinion will not go down when you read the next book. I'm glad you think that going in.
I think you told me a little bit about the story. Flair, enjoy.
It's so freaking amazing. So I cannot wait for that. And like Dalinar is just like the leader, like the guy you would want on your back. Like no one questions ever trusting him. It's so funny that villains' plans rely on him being trustworthy. Like I trusted that you would do this, and you would.
People are not gonna like nod. He'll get it done. he'll do it for you. No questions asked. Like he got it.
He's like, I knew you'd trust me. It's who you are. It's you are to trust me. And you got. But he's just such a cool dude. And then if I would have a close second, it would be Kaladin. Kaladin's a really dope character too.
That one is my favorite. That's the boy.
His rags to riches to riches to rags to rags to riches, like constantly throughout his entire life, is just, it's so fun to follow, even though
his life is a roller coaster. We're talking about you're technically a noble, bet, to like you fought in a war. That's not as great, but you're a war hero, yay! But then you're a slave. Oh,
like Kaladin will do something freaking amazing and then get punished for it. Yes. Like literally a page later.
I love characters like that.
It's the saddest thing. It's the best thing, but it's the saddest thing. It's just the idea of that. It's just being like, oh, that's the dopest thing I've ever seen. Man, you better give this man a reward, give this man a medal. Nah, he's in jail. What?
Get him out of here.
Get him out of here. Too amazing. Get him out.
Does Brandon Sanderson, does it, I know, like, I remember read like the first 200 pages of Mistborn. Does it ever get long-winded? Because I know those books are like 1,000, 1,200, 1,300 pages or something.
Nah, it just kind of flows to me.
It does flow, but to me personally, I'd also notice there are some points where, like, the first book especially focuses a lot on world building.
Okay.
Like the first one, like
I mean, it's bound to happen too, but
Yeah, they just have a bunch of random weird stuff that exists.
Mm-hmm.
And to be fair, at the end of each of his books, he has like a section pretty much dedicated to being like, let me just explain things to you, right? Like, let me not story, but let me just take you for a second and go like, hey, look, these are things you should probably know about the world in general.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that is so nice of him, because I didn't have that for 5 books. With Malice Head, I had to write my own notes.
Like for instance, this one took me until book 2 to actually figure out, but like X-hounds are like bug creatures that are like quote unquote dogs, but they don't know what dogs are. Like, that's a conversation that happens. They're like, yeah, no, I don't know where the hound part of it comes from, but like I kind of get why it's called X. Right? And you're looking at it being like, huh. And for the longest, I was not aware that they were like these bug creatures. In fact, a lot of their pets are like these weird bug style creatures. They're animals and stuff.
You've already made me feel like I need to go back and reread something, because in this entire time I thought they were like dogs too. Crap.
They act like dogs, but they're not dogs. They're bugs. They're like big bugs. And I was like, huh. Interesting. And like the fact that a character mentions the fact that it's like, I don't know what a dog, like I don't know what a hound is, and it's like, wait, because I remember going through that and was like, what? Wait a minute, you know what a dog is? It seems kind of important for the name of this thing, doesn't it? That's crazy. Yeah, so if you look at it right now, if you look up some of the animals like axe hounds and stuff like that, for it, you'll just see he has drawings and sketches of how they might look. For originally, I was like, I didn't know that's what that was.
Hey, Flair, since you're a fan of his, if you go to his website, he posts the percentage at which each of his current drafts he's working on are done.
Mm-hmm.
That's a flex.
Not to mention, what was it, the quarantine novels? Like, he wrote 4 of them.
Damn.
This man.
Yeah, he wrote 4 books just because he was bored at home, I guess, and then like he did a Patreon thing that broke records, and he self-published them through that. And I think they like got so much funding, they're either going to be general published or they're going to have a run private, and then they'll go general. But they're all Cosmere, which God knows. I'm calling it right now because I was looking up a little bit about the Cosmere. By the end of Stormlight, because it's a 10-book epic, I'm telling you, it's going to pull all of his universe together somehow.
Or something crazy, yeah.
Yeah, that would be pretty sick. Because I think from the way, like, Wit is kind of like a prominent character in Stormlight, like one of the, like, more significant characters, I feel like his story is also going to be told in that archive as well.
Oh, dude, Wit is probably, like, my 3rd favorite character just because I purely don't know enough about this man. Every time he shows up, he becomes more and more interesting because you're like, at first you're like, oh, he's just cracking on all the people that's sitting here in the city, right? You're like, whatever. And it's like, he's a vibe. He's got the tongue that's willing to just say whatever he wants. Cool. And he's like, all right, I'm gonna go off on a journey. Where are you going? And you catch up with him later, and you're like, you went here? Why are you here? What's going on? Wait. He shows back up somewhere else. You're like, you're up to something, like for sure now. This is like the 3rd time you just showed up. What are you doing?
Knowing about shit he ain't supposed to know about.
Exactly. I'm like, what is happening here? He was like, I'm doing my research. I'm out here. I'm like, okay. I don't
have any odious intentions.
I was like, I'm just vibing out here. I'm like, all right.
He's out there listening to T-Pain. It's a vibe.
He always shows up with, like, he just changes the energy of the story every time he shows up. It's funny.
Yeah.
But it's because he changes it in 2 different ways. It obviously becomes funnier and more whimsical, but then you're also like, what are you up to though? Like,
Exactly.
why? And it's never a straight answer. Never.
I gotcha. Yo, I feel that. I could tell y'all about this girl pust. I'll do that later. I'm not trying to like derail,
Oh
but
no, you're fine. You're fine.
so Flare actually for Brandon Sanderson, the whole Stormlight thing. Um, what was the? I was gonna ask. It was because you're reading it, and did you read novels before that?
Yes.
Okay, so has it kind of changed how you approach novels, or has it just accentuated what you already kind of did? Because I noticed Malazan has changed how I read things, um, but I want to get that perspective. I feel like larger series can do that to a person.
I would say more like enhanced how I read, because
Okay.
funnily enough, the Stormlight Archive wasn't like my first larger series. Well, some people might not include it, but the Aragon series books do get fairly large.
Oh, that's fair.
That's fair.
Like, I believe like the first book's only like around 600 pages, but like from the book on from there, it's usually around to 800 into late thousands, with Freaking Inheritance being around 1,400 pages.
Jeez.
Gotcha.
So I do feel like I do find myself, but it also could be because I'm more mature in the way that I read now, because I'm a lot older now. That I do take
Yeah.
my time a bit more to like grasp how the artist likes to use language, and
Right.
how he likes to emphasize certain characters, and kind of like see his patterning to like how the story is flowing.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like I feel that more in Brandon Sanderson's writing, though it could also just be because I can actually figure out the patterns now.
Yeah. I get that completely. I figured that was the case, especially like larger series, and then maturity, like with the whole Malazan thing. I actually now like planning my other series to read after it. I intend fully to keep a glossary of the characters and descriptions of those characters, kind of like I've been doing with this, because you get to keep up with the lore more, and then just
You get to
figuring
play
out
keep
how
it
Erickson intends it. Because everybody else like Erickson is almost like writing a biography about a world that doesn't exist while keeping it high fantasy and great writing and all that. And so it kind of, as I matured and read it more, it makes me now like anything else I've picked up and read, I'll read like 30 pages in like 10 minutes and then be like, yeah, I'm going to read that one later. But I already know I'm going to keep this note, and just roll with what the author has. And there's a lot of freedom with that.
For sure. I can understand that. It's definitely one of those things that I've thought about doing myself. It's just taking notes. You mentioned doing that for like larger series. It makes sense just to keep track of where everyone is, what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Also, it helps you keep track of like the more, I say, like the setups and foreshadowing,
Yeah,
as the
thematic.
pages just expand.
Mm.
Because
I mean, if
I
you
love
guys,
getting those little pop offs in the books though, when you're just reading through and something happens in the story and you're like, it makes sense.
yeah. I suggest it, man. It'll take you a lot longer in the first like half of a book usually, or like sometimes you don't get to read as much as you wanted in your however long you've allotted yourself. But any new character that pops up, if you type their name up in a document and then just put a little description at least, or if it's a main character, you put a big description. I don't know how or why, but that's just how I've kept up with everything through Malazan. Like every little detail I can. I just actually read the other day, and a character like was from book one, kind of obscure, and I remembered him, and I was like, oh my god, this is here we are 7 books later. This is paying off finally.
Oh yeah, you were telling me about that. That actually is really cool. Just the idea of coming back to a character completely. That's like, you're like, huh? I thought you were a one-off. Like, you're important. That's wild.
What have you been doing this whole time?
That's the
I've
question.
been in
man.
hell. I gotcha. But what else have you been into?
Yeah.
Oh my bad. Go ahead.
No. You're good. Is anything else for?
I would think that's been all that I've been into lately. Anything that I could surely talk about other than the like some of the more common things like the Last of Us series. That's also been like pretty great.
Everyone has been enjoying that.
Yeah, it's been pretty cool. The funny part is I've never played the games myself. but I'm watching with a friend of mine who has played the games like multiple times. So like
Mm-hmm.
we'd get to parts where he'd be like, "All right, that's different from the game," and I'd be like, "How is it different?" And I'd be like, "Oh, so that's cool how they changed it this way." And it's like just going into the dynamics of the show while we're watching the show.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty neat.
I gotcha.
I've noticed a lot of people have been doing that too, which I've seen some clips and stuff like that where I'm like, yeah, that's just a shot for shot remake. Like they just did it again. You know what I mean? But Last of Us is good. The original story for it is really good, and then the obviously the show is doing just as good. It's doing gangbusters. People are like losing their minds over it. Plus, it's taking its time to like somewhat improve the story, from what I understand. So I'm like, okay, that's fine. Good for them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They definitely are making some, I would say, like improvements, especially like there's just some things that don't work outside of video games.
True. That is very true.
So
You can't have a dramatic onslaught of enemies come through that you're just like, yeah, it makes sense for the game. Whereas it just doesn't work for here, where it's like, oh yeah, we're gonna spend 90% of the time just sneaking and stabbing people, I guess. Imagine a show that's just 90% of just assassinations.
Pele's been getting on to me about watching it, man.
I do think it's a good show.
Yeah,
well, like I recommend watching it.
Mm.
Just for the cinematic experience that it offers.
Yeah.
But like, you also know my strange stance when it comes to like adaptations too, where it's like this is I'm praising it now for what it does because it deserves its praise. But a part of me is also sitting here being like, you're kind of, not to dunk on the team or anything like that, but it's like you're kind of just regurgitating the information that was already done. I give them props for doing things different here and there, and they have full like. In that, I praise them on doing a good job because it's becoming better than the original source material. But like, when they do like a shot for shot remake of like a scene, for instance, I can't like. Good job, you did a shot for shot remake of the scene. You know what I mean? But like, a part of me also looks at it and goes like, "But it was already good, so like." As long as you copied your homework correctly, it should continue to be good. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so I got you.
I got you. Check it out today. Why not?
New episode drops today at 9 Eastern. Totally not a shill, by the way.
Totally not. We're not getting paid for this. We can't chill. We can't chill. That's it for you, Flair?
I would say that would be pretty much be it for me.
Alright.
Well, Amani, I'm gonna pass it to you then.
How dare you?
Alright, cool. Polite.
Check it. So, I checked out a couple of things. One of them, I went back and finished a manga I was reading a long time ago. Basically, this has been done for a long time, and I have struggled to finish this thing for some reason. It is not any fault of the story. It is completely fault of like any app I had that made me lose my spot multiple times, and I'm bad at rereading stuff. I've always like just rewatching. Best way I can describe it is, I do not like to go back through things very often. And when I do, I usually like to start either from the beginning again. Because if I lose my place in it, it is extremely difficult for me to pick back up in some instances.
Oh, I'm right there with you, man. No
it's like in most instances I can remember everything that happened, but like if it's been long enough, I'll remember stuff as it continues, right? So it's like and if I haven't finished it, if I'd never finished it, I don't like going back through everything. My brain doesn't like it. So it's like, the idea is I have to get through the first time. And once I get through the first time, I can do whatever with the story. I can jump back and forth, read certain parts, whatever. It doesn't matter. But as long as I got through it the first time, it works. Like, it's like, nothing else matters. Like, I can do whatever. The manga is called My Little Monsters. It's like a romantic comedy about like,
Little
this.
monsters.
Yeah, well, no, it's a romantic comedy. It's
Oh.
high school students.
Strange hunch.
It's a high school students. One of them is like a little book nerd who like just doesn't she just doesn't seem to care very much about people. She doesn't have friends. She doesn't care. She doesn't have friends. All this other stuff. And then the other one is a misunderstood delinquent who is actually like a genius, okay, but like he constantly is just he gets into fights. He's a weirdo. Like everyone looks out and he's like playing with a chicken that he has at school for some reason. It's like, why do you have this chicken? He just has a chicken.
I feel that.
Granted,
So
those
everyone
are
look-
viable questions.
So everyone looks at him and is like, he's kind of strange, right? But the idea is that he doesn't have friends, but he likes to have friends, right? People are aware he's like famous in that weird way of like he's the weird kid, but not like the everyone shuns him away, but they don't know what to do because it's like when he talks to people, he's super intense sometimes, and it's like, well, okay, well, I don't know how to deal with that kind of energy you're putting out. And then,
Yeah.
so then other people can't talk to him. And then when you see him doing stuff, it's like he's always doing something strange. Like it's nothing like super weird, but it's like he's here. And like the teachers don't get rid of him or anything like that because it's like I mean he's passing. Like they literally look at us like he's acing all of his classes. I'd let him do what he wants, I guess. It's like he's doing fine, it seems. So it's like it's the idea of this odd couple that meets essentially, and they have a third that essentially is trying to get all of them to be friends. Like her idea, Natsumi, is just like hey, I want to have friends. I suck. I'm really popular with guys, but I don't have friends. And so she's like, you two are cool, right? Be cool with me, right? And essentially it's these three meeting other people and becoming like friends and creating this group, this family around them, and learning bits and pieces about each other's like life, while all the way like these two, the antisocial one, well, the nerd and the weirdo are kind of getting together and experiencing romance for the first time in an awkward way because one of them just says the first thing that ever comes to his mind and the other one thinks about everything and is very blunt, but like it's very tactical.
Oh, so it's like me. Okay.
So it's a nice little like romantic comedy actually. It just main thing is I kept stopping at a certain point. I'm telling you, when I was like was at like probably the last 20 chapters.
Yeah.
But I've reread the I think the chapters before the last 10 at least. Like I think there was a section of 10 chapters, maybe 20 somewhere within there, that I've reread at least 3 times because I've tried to do this like 3 different times. And
I gotcha.
it sucks because I never remember where in those 10 chapters I was at. And because it was a monthly series, chapters aren't like short. Like they're not like little chapters. They're like thickum chapters because it's a monthly series.
Yeah.
It sucks to reread and go back and go like, okay, where was I? And then you're reading through a chapter that you're like, okay, I don't think I remember this. And then suddenly something happens in that and you're like, no, I remember this entire chapter. I was definitely past all of this. Like, and so I'm like, all right, let's go scrolling again. And then it's like, nope, I remember everything in this one too. I was just in the wrong spot. I spent like 30 minutes just reading a bunch of stuff I didn't need to read again. I'm just flipping through and trying to figure it out. And this happened 3 times. So, yeah, like I said, this has been me trying to finish this one for like years.
Gotcha.
It's probably one of my favorite romance manga that I've read, just because of how like it's just a fun ride, right? Everything about it, I like the characters, how things play out is funny. I like the idea of how this romance plays out, and unlike most romance like stories, they get together relatively early. Actually, like most of it is about more so their relationship and how they learn more about each other than it is about won't they be together. And I like that because it's just,
I was gonna say, thank God, man.
most of them are about this. Are they gonna do it or not? Like, are we doing this? They're gonna figure out each other's feelings? No, that doesn't happen. In fact, I think the main premise is the fact that she gets asked out by the jock dude, not jock, the delinquent, pretty early, and they both genuinely have to take a second and go like, okay, so you asked me out, right? And that's cool, but like, do you know what you like about me? Because like, I don't know what you like about me, and I'm not really sure what I like about you. It's like, so like, should we figure this out? Should we actually like figure this out before we approach a relationship? And they're like, probably. maybe we should probably think about this. And that's like it's a fun part about it. So it's like it's very obvious from the beginning. It's like these two have a connection. They're gonna be together. We just gotta figure out like, ooh, what's these details that we're missing here? Because we can't just jump into this.
Excuse me.
It's just refreshing in that kind of way where I'm like, okay, this is fun. And it's complete. So like it's done from beginning to end. If you wanted to go read it, it's fun. I enjoy it.
I gotcha.
Another thing I checked out was I had to check out Destiny 2 Lightfall. Had to. Shit crazy. It's nice to be in Destiny again. They're doing the thing where they had the legendary and the classic style. I started on classic. Flair, you were there for this. Nardo said you might as well. You're missing out on legendary. I ought to choke him for telling me to go ahead and go to legendary, bro. The other day I spent like, cause I'm playing by myself, so it's not like I'm playing with playing a campaign with like three people, right? Or 2 extra people. Cause that'd be one thing. That's fun, right? Playing on legendary, whatever. I have backup. Doesn't matter. You played Destiny before.
Yeah.
How fast can things kill you if they're above you?
In a single bullet, honestly. Like one instance in a freaking wire sniper will have your head.
Like, I'm playing legendary, and legendary is like not that much above me, but like it's sending enemies and doing things in a way that I'm like, we having problems. So I have no problem with the levels. Right now, I spent like 2 or 3 hours yesterday doing one section of a level I didn't beat. I didn't beat it. I had to restart the whole thing. Because I was like, I gotta do other things. I have other things I have to do today. I have to put this down. Damn it. Mm-hmm. Because once you get to those areas where it's like no respawns, it's just
trapped
by yourself. Villainy. They send the enemies they pretty much send the amount of enemies they would send at a squad.
Of course.
But you're fighting them by yourself.
Kind of like
and you're like
on legendary.
Yeah, on legendary. And you're like, it's fine. Like I started figuring out the patterns and everything. I was doing it, right? Like the best part about Destiny is sometimes certain weapons are just solutions for problems. So it's like I'm fighting some of the Taken, like Cabal, for instance, and like they keep doing this little stupid they had like their little axiom bolt thing that they just put out, and it tracks. It's the most annoying thing. This thing, it's a slow moving projectile, but it has the most aggressive it has the most aggressive tracking on the planet. On the planet, it does not care where you're at. It will find you unless you're invisible. It will find you. Either that or you got to do some juking. you got to do like a football player. But the problem is, in normal, you could juke it out, right? You could just run around and just dodge it, zip, whatever, who cares? On legendary, they know how to aim. So, sure, you could try juking it, but then they'll just shoot you out of whatever instance you are in the air. Because, yeah.
It's like doing Deku Smash in Fortnite.
So, what I started doing is I was like, alright, cool. What's the deal with this? I'm like, the shields are arc. Do I have an arc weapon? I had an arc, scout rifle. It was a Soros scout rifle, so that thing is an automatic thing, right? I'm like, cool, let's see. I used it against them. I'm like, okay, that problem solved, right? They're gonna keep respawning. Whenever they respawn, I'm just gonna switch to this weapon and execute them. Easy clap. It's like, that one's good, right? And then the deal is that they want you to do a, and this is what's fun about it, they want you to do a puzzle that is made, best way I can describe it, it is made for 3 people to be doing, or at least more than one, right? But you can solve it with one person. Like, it's fine, you can do it with one person. You just have to take your time, for sure.
Got you.
But I think the biggest problem with it is like when you do these no respawn zones by yourself, they are sections. This game, okay, so let's say like this was supposed to take like 10 minutes, right, as a squad. This gets compounded on because as a single person, you have to deal with every single enemy encounter separately, because if you start getting ahead of yourself, there's too many people on the screen. They will execute you. It doesn't matter. Because like every time you do a section of the puzzle, they spawn more enemies, right? And it's not like a little bit of enemies. It's like, hey, yeah, here's a new wave of people. And so one of the things is like you have to carry a ball to another side. So it's like I had to execute everyone that's involving this, like activating this orb, right, in the first place. Like just standing on the plate and executing them. Then, because you have the two dudes that are always spawning, you have to execute them, which is fine, but they always spawn. You just got to do it, and then you kill them, and then you move within the time limit you have between them respawning. You do everything for the puzzle within them coming back. So you do that, then and I had to do this, I had to step down to a second floor, then jump back up to the first floor, because the moment you step onto the second floor, they spawn more enemies. So I had to jump down there, stop, like spawn them, jump back up, execute everyone that's involving this phase of this, then go down, go to the other side, clear off that platform, but don't activate it. Don't activate it. Then jump back down, take the orb, deliver the orb, then go back up, activate the other platform, but execute everybody after deleting the orb first. Then go up to the other platform, then activate it, then deal with everyone that comes after that. And I never beat it, and I'm pretty sure you're supposed to do it twice, is the deal. So you're supposed to do the exact process I just mentioned twice, but you gotta do it by yourself, which is tedious. It's tedious because the moment you die, start from the beginning again.
Like, sounds fun.
Just start it over, run it back. And the main thing about it is like all the levels are fine, right? They're designed well. The mechanics are fun. It's just that when you get to these final areas in every mission, because every mission has it where they just lock you in and they're like, "Hey, look, it's tough. It's tough out here. Do this." Because that's how Destiny is set up. It's level that kind of is pretty easy for the most part. They throw some weird encounters at you, but you're not really like too pressed for like with checkpoints and stuff like that. You just
right.
You come back, and then at the ending they're like, "All right, we're locking you in a room. Get it done. whatever is happening here, get this done." And it's like, all right. But I was struggling, struggling.
I mean, you were on the hardest difficulty, right?
I mean, yeah, but I went up in levels because of that. I spent so much time fighting in this one room that my light level is way above what it's supposed to be, but it's still difficult because I'm fighting in this one room by myself. And I'm like, and yeah, like the solution would be, because some people might be like, the solution is to just turn down the difficulty. It's like, yes, the solution is to turn down the difficulty. Correct. But it doesn't fix the problem where this room is still designed for 3 people. Like, the puzzle is still built this way. And he's like, and it's still going to lock me in there and say, hey, solve it. And if you die, you got to start it over again. The only difference is enemies might just be easier to kill. Like, that's just it. Like, it's like they won't hit me as hard, and I just shoot them, and they'll die a lot faster in comparison. But basically, like, when you start having, like I said, weapon solutions for certain problems, like, enemies do disappear. Like, I had a rocket launcher for a dude that spawns that, like a mini boss that shows up on the map during that, because I missed him in the thing, as far as talking about him. But what he does is he'll sit, he has a minigun, and he fires off missiles that blind you, and I'm like, alright, cool, I know this enemy type. Where's my rocket launcher? And so I just have that on me to be like, this is for you, and anything else that might appear that's like you. But I gotta save that ammo, because I don't got a lot. So you go, and then we switch back to this to end up with these guys, to end these guys, and then switch to this so I can make sure I can deal with this stuff. I had a bow that was like, they introduced like a really cool bow in it that's like stasis. So the idea is like getting headshots builds up this thing called hail barrage. So you have to do like aimed in shots of headshots on enemies, and the more you kill with this bow, the more this hail barrage pulls up. And then what you do is you don't aim, and a bunch of arrows spawn in your bow. They're a bunch of stasis arrows. You hit them from hip. Yeah, if you shoot them from hip, they launch out and create like stasis pillars and freeze whatever like is there. But the more arrows you get is based on how many headshots you do. And I'm like, that's a really fun weapon. I was having fun. That thing was a solution for crowd control. They gave me that weapon, and I was like, this is how we deal with everyone, all the ads.
This is how I play by myself without 3 other people.
I was like, I just have to. Certain weapons were picked specifically to just deal with problems. I'm having fun, but I'm not having fun. If that makes any sense, it's like I'm not having fun. I'm just solving.
That's one of those things that I always felt like Destiny did well. Like you having the solution, like it's a powerful solution, but like damn, the fact that you have to use it as a problem does make you feel like a badass. And that game does do a good job of making people feel like a badass.
I still haven't gotten Strand yet. They let me play with it. They let me test it out, like the new class. They let me test it out a little bit. I liked being Spider-Man Ninja for a second. Because what it is you get to, your grenade is not a grenade. You just get a grappling hook and you start swinging around is the deal, which is like cool. Crazy. They gave you Snatch, which is wild to think about. But the other thing they do is your super, at least for the hunter, because I'm playing as a hunter, is a rope dart, which is not a commonly used weapon, honestly, genuinely. It's kind of fun to mess around with. I've been trying to do I forgot what the melee ability was. It was something cool. I thought the melee ability was going to be the grappling hook. I'm not going to front, but it was something cool. I can't remember. It's going to bother me so much. But I was enjoying messing around with it. The fact that I still haven't unlocked Strand yet has me a little not peeved, but I'm like, I'm trying to use the new powers. It's like, I've been using all these other powers for like almost 10 years now, Destiny. He was like, you might have done some like genuinely, if you haven't been playing Destiny within the past, like, we'll say 2 years, right? The game has significantly improved and changed in ways like it's insane. It is genuinely like playing Destiny 3 if you were playing it, with the way that they've changed how you build things and stuff like that. It's meant for builds. They have an extreme amount of customizability to how you approach everything in this game now, so it's really cool. And even the subclasses have like the original 3 have like 3 different supers now. And then on top of that, they have this aspect thing that allows you to, like mix and match certain properties for that class to do different things. So like, for instance, there's an aspect for the Arc Strider class that lets you, if you get 2 different types of melees. So you could punch a dude and get that one, right? And if you're sprinting and then you do a slide and then hit the melee button, you do like a sick uppercut that does a Reppuken across the ground. And you're like, oh, okay, that's new. You look at that and you're like, that's really new. Or if you're the Night Stalker, because I'm going off the Hunter ones because I know them more so off rip than I do all the other ones. The Night Stalker, for instance, has a thing now where like they messed around with all your aspects. So now you can, if you dodge, you can go invisible. And then on top of that, you can throw your smoke bomb, go invisible as well. And then if you jump up in the air and then double tap circle, you'll do this dive, like this diving attack that like stuns enemies and puts you invisible. Like Night Stalker is like, I'm going to be a ninja. I will be in and out as far as I'm concerned. And then they gave you a super that also lets you, like, you run around with 2 knives and disappear into the darkness. So like
that is so
Night Stalker yeah, like Night Stalker has went to a place where it's just like, oh no, we just made ninjas. Like if you wanted to be a ninja, we got a build for you that's there. He's like, I'm here and then I'm not and then I'm here. It's the whole deal.
No problem.
Say less. In this shooter game? Got you.
That's what we dreaming of doing.
He's like, that's honestly the build I was using for that fight because it just helped the most. I was like, you know what? Things are getting a little too heated. Disappear. He's like, I'm out. I don't want to be here anymore. We're gone.
I don't enjoy this as much now.
Destiny 2 is looking really nice if you wanted to jump in. This is a great time. This is pseudo a great time to jump in. The only reason why I say this is pseudo a great time to jump in is if you cared about the story, of Destiny, genuinely, you will be confused going into this. Because Lightfall is basically going like, hey, look, we're fighting the final boss right now. Like, that is him. That dude is him. He was like, and you're like, okay, cool. And if you haven't been following any of that, you'll be like, I don't know how we got here. I don't know how we got here.
Dude, the last Destiny that I consumed was 2015 with the first one, and then I played the second one in 2019. So I guess if I jump in, I'm going to be brand new, lost all over again.
Best way I can describe it is you will have all the knowledge you had from the first game, but there's a bunch of stuff that's obviously happened that's like,
yeah,
you know, you're gonna be like, I don't know about that one. Like, I don't know what's happening here. So I'd say you'd be lost. As someone that's been kind of doing this weird thing where I jump back in and back out of Destiny throughout the entirety of Destiny 2, I'm even a little lost, but like I understand a bit, definitely bits and pieces more, where I'm like, okay, cool. Like I get that. Like there's I'm gonna say it's a spoiler, right, for Destiny 2, but like it's told you're told this in like the first 5 minutes of starting up Lightfall. Apparently one of the Guardians, I won't say which, just in case someone doesn't want it spoiled just yet, but like, you know, one of the Guardians was Sabathun, right? Like one of the gods that you're supposed to be fighting in the last DLC. She was just disguising herself as one of the Guardians there, and she's like, "Yeah, I showed up and like just straight up sabotaged you guys. Like that's crazy." And I'm like, they just dropped that in the beginning of Lightfall, just talking about it. I'm like, you know, that seems really important, and I didn't get to see any of this. It seems really important though. Mm-hmm. I'm like, all right. It's like, Flair, I think you could attest to this, where it's like you just saw that and was like, huh. Didn't know that happened. Just didn't know.
You mean this entire time you were sus?
Yeah, it's crazy. Sabathun, the best among us players. I was like, that shit crazy. But yeah. Besides that, I tried out this game called Sunder Fury. We had looked at it a little while ago, where it was we were looking at it almost like a looked like this fun roguelike Monster Hunter almost game where like everyone picks their own weapons. There's at least 3 people total, and like you're fighting against hordes of monsters while dealing with like a bigger one, right? So I got into the alpha. I went looking, got in there, got to mess around with it. I think it's cool. I think it's a vibe. What we were looking at was actually super interesting, and what I was getting a chance to check out was actually really interesting because again, it's an alpha. I'm very much aware that this is going to improve how it's doing. But the class variety, I'm very interested in the class variety. And I got to talk with the developer a little bit for a little while, and they were mentioning about how they really wanted to emphasize the idea of that this is not a game that will hold your hand. They want you to figure things out on the fly, and they have a firm belief in like bosses should not be free, right?
Right.
A boss should be a test of the skills that you've earned, like you've learned so far throughout doing it.
Nice.
Now, I gave it a shot in single player. It's not bad. It's kind of fun. But I kind of am looking forward to messing around with multiplayer with it, which is available for the alpha actually if you get the chance to. I haven't got a chance to mess around with it though. But honestly, the game is built in a way that I think it is more suited in general for you to be playing with at least 2 or 3 more people. Because you do have tools that'll allow you to get through the hordes if you're in a single player thing. But when I ran into the first boss, which is not bad, I gave it a couple tries. I was enjoying fighting him, but it's a little weird, right?
Right.
It's very obvious to me that the way this boss moves, obviously it's an alpha, they can change this, but the way they currently move right now, fighting them in single player is a little hectic. No matter what class you pick, it's kind of much. they genuinely bounce around and attack you like with a level of like movement that you're like, there's no, this thing is not stopping. Like I can't swing at it. Like, not really. He's like, and the reason why I say it's like it probably would be really interesting for multiplayer because this would be a monster that would be bouncing between individual people, like 2 or 3 people, as opposed to I'm gonna attack you, hop away so I'm too far, jump back in, hit you again, jump back out, jump back in, jump back out. And it's like, huh. Like you're sitting there as like I used 2 different classes. I used there's a gunner one which is really cool, and then there was he recommended that I use something known as the I can't remember the name, but basically you have a super big shield and a sword, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a 3rd class that's in there that I didn't get the chance to touch, but it's Guts. You are literally Guts. I'm not kidding. I saw the sword you get to use on that class. That is the Dragon Slayer. It just is the Dragon Slayer.
Does it just give you like Dark Knight abilities too to allow you to deal damage to gain power?
I don't know. I haven't tested, but I'm gonna have to test it out. But
you just gave him a new idea.
You might have. I also saw that they have like a ton of other classes that's going to be in the game. Like I was seeing like at least 6 or 7 more classes besides the ones that I was able to play. And there was 4. There was 4 total. There was a cleric that I didn't get the chance to touch. I was just like, cleric seems like healing and stuff. That seems useful. But at the same time, I need damage right now. But yeah, playing as the gunner, I was like, I was struggling with the hordes more so because the way you're set up, you have like 4 shots and then you reload and then you do your thing. But you have a bunch of other like things you can use and throw out. But when dealing with hordes, that class suffers when playing by themselves because it's like there's just too many. But dealing with that boss, a lot easier because it's like, you know what, I'm just gonna run around and then just pop you whenever you get like too far. I'm just make sure I dodge when you come in, and then whenever you go back out, click pop. Right. The other class, the more melee focused one that I was using, that one had the opposite problem where the hordes were like running up to you and I'm like, easy clap. Like originally I was like, I'm gonna get swarmed, and then I started using some of my abilities. I'm like, nah, easy, trash, all of you, garbage, get out my face. But as it continued, when I fought the boss, I'm like, I can barely hit him. He's like, he's moving too much for me to even attack him a couple times. I can just set up more than anything else, and then maybe we'll get his health down. But like I said, it very much feels like it's definitely balanced to have more than one person, and it is made to be difficult. It's like I said, it's supposed to be accumulation of what you are, what you have acquired, what you've learned, your skills, and I agree with that. So I was like, I'm looking forward to seeing how it continues to shape up. The aesthetics of this game is like a gothic, I want to say like it's like a gothic kind of Monster Hunter feel. You have a village that you initially set up for and get ready to take missions and things like that. The village is kind of big, which is kind of very reminiscent of Monster Hunter World, honestly, where the way you're just running around and being like, oh yeah, that's on this floor and that's on that floor, and you're jumping back and forth between different parts to be like, I'm using this and this. Then you go out and you're dealing with like a level and a monster, as to speak, which is kind of fun. It's a little different for a hunting game, to be honest. And I think people would really like it. So that's kind of the vibe I'm getting for this one. Correct. Can't wait to see how this shapes up, though. Like, obviously, right now it's an alpha state. They're not kidding. It is an alpha. The visuals are in the game. The gameplay is in the game, but like it needs some fine tuning, which But you can always go and you can play the alpha for yourself. Honestly, if you guys wanted to download it, you guys can play it too. But this is Cinder Fury, so you can obviously check it out. They can use all the feedback they need, like they can use just to help make the game better. So by all means, go check them out. Go do some stuff. Get a code. Enjoy.
What was the name of it again? You said it was Cinder Fury?
Cinder Fury.
It sounds like a really enjoyable game. And A, it sounds like they're doing good work. They know what they're doing. Excited it's an alpha. But B, it's cool that, again, like you get to play test this on behalf of Paper Play Action. I forget that with a podcast comes perks like that. It's just kind of cool.
Cinder Fury.
The other thing, and final thing I got for me is we were gifted Gotham Knights by an anonymous donor. So the two responsible for playing through that game is currently me and Aaron, and he's Red Hood, I'm Nightwing, and we're just gonna see how this plays out.
Have
So far,
fun.
the game is all right. We know that we have a grind coming up at some point.
Mm-hmm.
It is not an Arkham game, so if you ever wanted to play it, don't go into it thinking it's an Arkham game. But so far, it's not like the best way I can describe it is like it is not offensive in any way. It's just
Okay.
it's just not offensive. But the game is, I guess it's a little. It feels a little soulless, which is weird because like the idea of making a story about just the Bat Family feels like it would be something that is a
Soul-filled.
passion project. Yeah, like it's a passion project. You would think, and it kind of is in certain instances. So like you look at the gear and stuff like that that's in the game and all the art that goes along with it, and the story that they're trying to tell, and you're like, no, like people cared about making this game, like for sure, but like things just feel a little off here and there, where you're like I don't know, man, that's just not as good. Like I guess the best way I could describe it is that it feels like playing a double A game without soul, which is
I
the
gotcha.
weirdest thing to say because most
Yeah.
double A games usually
Are
have
soulful.
soul. It's the deal, but that's the best way I can describe it. It's not polished enough to be triple A. It's just not. But and what they're doing is it feels like they wanted to do certain things, like they wanted to make a live service. They wanted to do certain things, or at the very least, someone told them to make it more live servicey, and then like as they got closer to the release, they was like, "F all that shit. Get that out of my game. It's not worth it."
It ain't mine.
Funny part is though.
So they stripped the live service elements out of it, but like the game is still balanced around the idea that like, you'd be doing dailies and stuff like that. Like you're not doing dailies in the game, but it feels like it's balanced around that with the way like the gear system works and stuff like that. That it's like you'd be putting in some time every day or every couple days to make your character better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so you run into those like design issues where it's like, well, I'm playing this as a co-op experience and I just kind of want to get through the story, but apparently we have to go fight crimes, which as we should do, but like apparently we have to go fight crimes. You know what I mean? Like in Spider-Man, for instance, you want to go fight crimes, right? You go fight some crimes, whatever. But if you got to a part in the game where you're like, we don't got time for stopping other crimes. We gotta go to the story. Like this shit's popping off. You can
Yeah.
do that. In this game, it feels like it's like, no, you better go stop those crimes because you go to the wrong story mission and they will fuck you up. You will be significantly outclassed. Is the best way we can describe it.
It feels funny to say, like the enemies in that game sometimes feel bullet spongy.
Yeah, which is wild because like the only one that's using guns is Red Hood. But you're not wrong. There's
Why
times
am
where
I
I'm
in the
throwing
wrong
range
game?
attacks at people, and it's just kind of like, it hit him. It definitely hit him.
Oh,
I was like,
God,
I don't know if it
may
did
have hit,
much.
but I certainly don't agree.
Yeah. Like, this is a basic enemy, man. Just
He don't care.
smack him around a bit. Like, I should be running through him. Like, they don't have to be easy, but they shouldn't be, like, eating it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you can even feel it in the beginning of the game where they have you fight he's not even armored. He just has a shield. It's a big boy with a shield. You're like, this is gonna be an enemy type in the game. I'm like punching him by myself, and I'm like, yeah, this is sure an enemy type. This is an enemy type in this game that's still alive. he's still here, and I've put in like 4 or 5 different combos on him now, and he is still standing.
Excuse me, sir. Wouldst thou please go to thine golden shore?
You know what? That's exactly how I can possibly describe this. So, it is a superhero game in which you don't feel superpowered because
Oh.
enemies just kind of eat things. Like there's parts of it where it's like there's like parts of the game where we're being really fun and having fun with it. We like stealthed it through like this little base, for instance,
Mm.
and we're like taking people out, and doing the stealth stuff on them. You're like, okay, gone, right? That guy's gone. That guy's gone. And you're like, all right, tactical team. And then we started fighting people, and like we're beating up these bad guys, but like some of them are just like, yeah, I'm still up. You beat the shit out of me. You did, but like I'm here. And you're like,
Hats off to you. Hats off.
you're
You
just
done
looking
very
like
well.
you're
But
getting team tagged by like two different superheroes right now. How are you still up? Like, how are you good?
gotta love it.
Oh, this is just Tuesday.
Excuse me, brother. Excuse me.
Like, genuinely, the better way of explaining it would be like, oh, yo, I'm used to Batman beating me up. Like, you guys are nothing. Like, and if they described it like that, it's like, huh, okay, makes sense. They're just living because Batman was the one that was out here. But it's just funny to me. It's just one of those things where it's like, oh, like they just don't go down. It's such a weird game. We're gonna go through the full playthrough because we got it. We have it now, so we might as well. But it's a situation. It's a vibe, I guess. It's a game. It's the game.
It's a whole game.
It's a game.
Amani's not lying.
It is, yes, correct. It is a full game. It is a full game. It's a game. But like I said, just for every complaint, it's a weird game because it's for every complaint. There's also something that's like happens in the game that you're like, this is like they cared. They cared. They really did. But it's like weird. I think that's it though for me though. I think that's everything I did this week. So Paul, your turn. Go.
Okay. Well, first off, thank you both for sharing. Interesting stuff. I'm excited to check them out. I honestly, I actually have a soft spot in my heart for like little romance animes and things like that because I love Inuyasha. But one thing I want to say is, as far as photography goes, I fell out of it for a while there, but I think I'm finally coming back, and I'm gonna send a couple images to show you guys why. I have a picture, or I have a photo shoot of Andre, right? And his theme was he wanted to be kind of like a superhero. So while y'all were talking, I was going through the photos, narrowing it down, and when I uploaded them into Lightroom, I started playing around with it, and I realized I now have like 30 presets. I was like, wow, I have a lot of superhero looking stuff. So they're grainy as hell, but let me see if I can upload these. Oh, they're too... Dang. All right, never mind then. Point being is I'm back, and Amani, we gotta do a shoot like this. It looks very good. And it turns out the way the Helios lenses I have cause those halo rings, it looks like smoke when you color it just right. So it adds more texture. I gotta send you these or like upload them and share the file or the folder with you guys. But as for my week, I finally finished book 7. Finished it last week of Malazan. It had, by and large, the best ending I've ever read in any book. There are... I could talk about some spoilers, or I couldn't. I'd rather just spoil it. So those of you that are trying to read the series, please, for the love of God, turn this off. You do not need this spoiled. But we finally saw the payoff of some of the stuff from book 1, right? So the book 1 and book 3, so Onus Toulon, all these people, he goes off, joins the White Barghest as he becomes a human form again at the end of book 3. The entirety of that clan meets over on the continent of Lethris to help out the what are they called, the wolf dudes? I can't remember their name off the top of my head right now, which is funny. I've been reading them the whole damn book. But anyways, Adjunct Tavor's army, Fiddler, all those good guys I've mentioned in the past, go to Lethris to mess things up, and they do, and the Eder get annihilated just about before going home. Everything falls apart, and then Troll Sengar gets stabbed in the back, and it was literally like Troll Sengar. See, it's hard to talk about this. I talk in circles, but I'll try to keep it cohesive. I'll go Troll, I'll go Akarium, and then I'll go Beak, and that story. Because I think you guys will like the fantasy aspect to all of that. But and I could go extras, but it'll take a while, so I'll try to wrap this up. But anyways, so Troll Sangar is like one of the coolest characters. You find him in this in the dying warren of Curled Thrillin. Onos Tulan runs into him. The two become best friends. When they finally get to the Talan Warren at the end of book 6, or no, excuse me, it's I think it is book 7. Onos Tulan becomes human again, but he's ancient human, a caveman, and he's walking around with them. They're best friends. He tells his friend goodbye. Onos Tulan's in a good place. Troll goes home with Seren Padak, who he basically married or did the marriage ritual of his people back in book 5, right? So he left a sword on her doorstep. So his brother was actually protecting her this whole time because of all of that. And so they go home. Quick Ben and Hedge. See what I'm saying? It sounds confusing. It's like, bro, there's so much going on. What are you talking about? But let me just roll with it. Just imagine people. Doesn't matter. They go home. They have sex. They're happy. They're married. They know they're going to be okay. Troll goes, I have to go see my brother. Wait, I've given you all of me now, right? And he has. She's pregnant. They don't know this till the end of the book, but he goes there. He goes and finds his brother's dead body, and while he's holding his brother like a baby, and keep in mind his brother's the crazy emperor, has the coins on him. The crippled god's been using him, using the empire that he puts him in charge of. One of the guys that doesn't know that they've all lost sneaks up behind him. One of the Letheri counselors or whatever, right? Comes up, stabs him in the back. And it was the biggest gut punch I've ever felt in any book because I love Troll Sengar. That was my guy. That was one of my favorite characters. I've been reading with him consistently through book 4, through book 5, pieces of book 6, and now a good chunk of book 7. And then he dies. You know what I mean? Like, and you guys know how invested I am in the series. It hurt.
He melted.
Bro, I legit read it, and I just like my hands went numb. I was like, oh my god. But then, so what was the next part? I was going to say was Akarium. So Akarium, right, all the way back, you kind of get people, I think, mentioning his name in book 1. Book 2, you kind of meet him, and you know that Mappo Runt is knocking him out, making sure his memories don't come back, because you get glimpses of his anger. Like, there's one point in book 2 where, like, he just starts walking towards these dudes, and everyone's like they can feel it. There's birds like shouting. Everybody just feels nervous, and they're like, what is going on? And Akarium's just staring at him, and Mappo goes up and hits him upside the head with a giant club. And they're like, what the hell was that? And he goes, don't worry about it. Get out of here. We're good. We're done. We're doing our thing. But he gets betrayed. What's his name? By this tribesman who's serving the nameless ones. The name will come back eventually. As I say, it's a lot to... Like, the series is so big that... What I was talking about earlier, Flair, with like how I read different now, I have all these character notes. I'll actually, if I want to pull up a name and something, I have to sit here and think about it for a moment, and it'll always come back, but it takes a minute, you know? But anyway, so, yeah, no, Akarium unleashes at the place. So you kind of see it in book 6. He goes crazy. He's like just screaming and attacking Troll, this and the other. But in book 7, he's just calm. Shakes hands with Karsa Orlong. Turns out Akarium is half Teblor, just like him, so he's half giant, half Jagged. And throughout the series, you've been hearing about Akarium's contraptions, right? These giant ancient structures that tell time and this and the other. Well, you finally find out what it is. It's to bring him to godhood, so essentially he can either kill the elder gods, take them over, or just be as powerful as them and defy them, right? Yeah. As a mortal, or a long-standing mortal, because he's a Jagged. And so what it does, it turns on in the middle of Lethris, middle of the freaking war, right, pushing up on the capital. The machine turns on, spins essentially, annihilates a chunk of the city instantly in like this beam of white light that goes to the heavens and pours down on Akarium, who's in the middle. I mean, it just evaporates people. Just, you know what I mean? Sucks all that energy in. It's still not enough because it's damaged after that many years. Turns off, and this white ball of flame, Akarium's in the center. You don't know where he is. But I don't think he's dead, obviously. This dude is a problem. He's a dope character, but he's a problem. Because when he starts fighting, his sword just starts buzzing, and the whole time he is just screaming. And that's his anger. And in the past, and the stories about him, he attacked a city for literally like 3 days, 3 weeks, something like that, and killed everybody in it. I mean, no woman, man, child was spared. Every soldier, just was annihilated. He's a problem, and now he's probably in godhood. It's an ascended form. It's rough. So, we all like big fantasy here. You guys are listening to this like, oh, man.
I'm hearing that being like, this man is
bro, and I've told you, man, it's hard to explain Malazan because the fantasy gets so big that when you read it and you're used to it now, there's so many books in, you're kind of like, oh, that's awesome, but you don't realize it. But when you're telling people about it, there's so many points. It's just like, you remember how book 1 I said it's kind of like your eyes roll back in your head and you're just like, like shaking? That's what Malazan does to you when you try to tell it to somebody. So that's why. All right, and then one more point. What was the last one I was going to say? It was Icarium, it was Troll, and then it was...
This is you on Malazan.
Who was the third one I said? Just to give that piece. There's another epic moment. Beak, that's right. So Beak is a mentally challenged mage that is seemingly nothing, and he refers to the Warrens as candles, and he knows how to turn them on or light them and turn them off, right? Beak has had a horrible life. He was molested by his parents. His little brother killed himself. And then while Beak thought he was trying to play, so Beak literally crouched under his body, letting his dead body stand on his back for hours till they were found. The woman, the Wiccan woman that taught him about the candles and taught it to him like their candles because she knew he was simple-minded, right? Teaches him about magic. And then she's cast away after being beaten and raped by his father. And then when Beak unleashes, he kills his parents, runs away to the army, joins the Malazan Marines, gets in the squad, gets into Tvor's army, right? So while they're on the continent of Lethris attacking the Etter, and all of these other mages who are using the Holds, which is the uncapped magic, as opposed to the Warrens, which Beak uses, which is magic siphoned through a filter, right? That's a good way to put it. They've reached a point, and if I've got you guys lost, I apologize. I'm doing this the best I can. But, okay, so they're outside of Lethris, and there's the army of Etter. The Lethari are trying to betray the Etter still, because, Rulad's the emperor, they don't like the Etter. They're very corrupt capitalist society, right? Ericsson's very clear about he doesn't like capitalism. But so they end up getting that whole Etter army in place. They surround Fiddler's squads and that small standing army that was supposed to push in while Adjutant Tvor comes from the sea towards Lethris, right? So it's a two-front attack. And, they annihilate a bunch of soldiers along the way. Mm-hmm. By the skin of their teeth, they survive. You've got Fiddler, you've got Gessler, you've got Stormy, you've got Hellion, you've got all these great characters in this one place. Everyone's going to die because they're surrounded by, it's like an army of 10,000 Tistetter versus just 900 soldiers, right? They know they're going to die. They're just ready to go. And then they look, and there's a wall of magic forming. It's black. It has red veins. It's swirling. There's 12 or 10 or 5 or whatever Lethari mages doing it. And so the way the hold magic works is often it's ritualized, but it's uncontrollable because it's not siphoned through a Warren, right? It's through the holds. So it is this wall of destructive magic that's going to kill everybody, the Etter army included. It's going to hit the ground, rupture out, and destroy everything for a mile radius, right? Huge, catastrophic thing. Beak is on his knees, starts powering up. He lights all the candles in him, right? All the Warrens, activates them all, which, by the way, is a high mage tactic that has never been done except by Quick Ben, and Quick Ben is 3 people in one. He's 3 souls, so he can do it. And it still drains him. Beak, obviously, he passes from this, but it's the coolest moment I've ever seen because, here we go, guys. Get ready. This is my favorite part, and then I'll move on. Sorry if I'm taking too long. But
No, you're fine.
So this wall of magic starts building up, and as it goes to crash down, Beak powers up, and he just is I have to protect my friends because they'll like me. They're my friends, and I have to do this, right? Because he's simple-minded. Oh, man, I'm tearing up thinking about it. Oh. Jeez, man. Oh, yeah, Beak hurt, bro. Dang it, man. Let's bring back memories. Anyways, wow, I didn't expect that. There you go, Mouse. I'm tearing up on the podcast. But, so the wall of magic starts coming down. Beak is wanting to protect his friends. He engulfs everybody in a white glow and puts a dome around them and purifies them. Some people have cancers, some people have wounds, some people have impurities, and Fiddler looks at this one dude and notices indentations of knuckles on his skull from where he would have been a baby and hit, you know? And everybody's impurities start lifting. Their skin turns white. Their hair turns white. Gessler and Stormy, because they were ascended through this fire that dragons go through, right? In the warren of, I believe it was Starvald Demelin, or a piece of it that they were in, or maybe it was Talan, I can't remember, but their skin turned copper, right? So when they get purified by this, their skin turns like gold and their hair turns gold. So they're like still even more ascended. So everybody essentially, I think in a way, ascends. And then Fiddler's already ascended, blah, blah, blah. But anyways, so there's this dome of white light. The Edder at this point, the army that's surrounded them, if it's not the ones trying to run away, even though they know they're all going to die, the commander in this one squad, or maybe it's the whole army, I think it's this one big squad, though, that was closest to attack, sits down and just gives up. And then Fiddler is dazed by the light. He's like, oh my god, what is this? And he steps outside of the dome that Beaks created, and he sees all the Edder, right? They're like 10 foot from the dome. They had run over there. They knew they were going to die. They threw down their weapons. They're like, please save us, essentially. Fiddler just steps out and looks at them and beckons them in. Just waves them in. And then Beak goes, man, I'm tearing up. Beak goes, it's okay. They're our friends too. I want everybody to be happy. I want to save everyone. And then one of the mages of the Edder, because he was corrupted by the crippled god's magic, erupts into flames and dies. He's not pure. He can't be purified, right?
Damn.
All these Edder come into this dome. Everybody's kind of hugging on each other, and this wall of magic falls. And everybody that's outside of the dome is just torn up in this black, swirling, red-veined, like electricity round or wall of destruction. Right? Kills everybody around them. The magicians that were summoning it too, because the holds are unkept, right, get sucked up in it and get just annihilated. They're torn limb from limb, and then they just eviscerate. But the magic doesn't kill Beak's crew, all the 900 people, plus the probably like 1,000 Edder or whatever it was they took in. And then Beak dies, and he's on his knees holding himself, and Hellions there crying, and Beak is like, I did this for my friends, really sad stuff. Then Beak wakes up at Hood's gate. He meets the god of death, who picks him up and says, go through that gate, your brother's waiting. He's like, what? And he goes, but he's not going to remember who you are yet. He was like 8 when he died. You're as old as you are now. Beak goes through the gate, sees his little brother who hung himself there playing with little wax figures that they played with as kids, and he goes up and asks him if he can play with them.
Damn.
Oh, that hurt. Oh, man, I'm tearing up, bro. That shit, that got me, man. I read that. I was crying like a baby. I'm not lying. So
it's like it's all over.
yeah.
I mean, we can tell how much it affected you again right now.
Yeah, bro, like Troll, then, oh, God. So anyways, I'll wrap it up. That's it. So book 7 had the best ending I've ever read of any book. 250 pages of just insanity, great action, and heartbreaking moments. The likes of which I didn't think I'd ever reach in reading a book,
Yeah.
And people said that about Malazan. And what's funny is I haven't actually, I cried at Beak. I didn't cry at Troll. I didn't really feel it because I was numb. But thinking back on it now, I feel all of that. Everything from this series up till now that has been a gut punch. I feel it. And I'm getting near the end, I've got 3 books left. I'm trying to read 30 pages a day to 50 pages a day and just kind of crank out the last 3,
Yeah.
Keeping up with notes. But to wrap it up, because I don't want to, I know I've taken about 30 minutes now, and it's all Malazan, right? But that's okay. I haven't done one of these in probably a year, What you call 'em? When you start book 8, you are right back on Genabacchus, where it all started. And immediately you get to see people stuck in Dragnapur, which is Animander Rake's sword. Connections made to all these other characters. You hop around a little bit. You get to go over and see Black Coral, which is where the Penny and Daman was, which is where the Tistandi are. And the way it kind of throws you in is, it's like you can feel it's the start of the end. I can't explain it, but it's like where Malazan, what it felt like in the beginning, deviated from a little bit with the other books, but what it always felt like was the Genabacchus continent, right? That's how I feel, because it's such high magic, whereas the other places are kind of like, they're high fantasy, high magic or whatever, but Darujhistan, Genabacchus, it's very fantasy, high fantasy. But yeah, man, it's like I can feel it. It's the beginning of the end, not just because it's book 8 of 10, but it's there's something going
feel
on.
Like you can feel
Yeah, like
storm
Animander Rake.
approaching.
Yeah, Animander Rake is talking about how he's got to go to a sail, which is this continent, which I think there's 4 Crulla sail there. So they're finally getting pulled in the mix, and he has to go. He's not in a rush, but something's coming. Someone's going to kill him. There's people trying to kill the bridge burners in Kennebacus. The Ezath Tower is starting to eat things and pull them in, so there's something wrong there. And not to mention, what else is there? There's like plots to kill people, all sorts of shit going on, obviously. But then, what was it? In Dragnipur, the cart has slowed down. So the whole sword of Animander Rake, if obviously no one's going to remember, but I'll say if you guys remember, it's a warren unto itself. It's the warren of shadow or whatever, or death or something. It's another one, right? But anybody that gets killed is chained to this giant cart that pushes Mother Darkness or whatever, she's also in this cart filled with souls, right? She's crushed by it. Everybody's crushed. And they're supposed to pull this thing. But now it's slowing down. And so it's like, what happens if they stop? You know, it's cataclysmic, essentially. And so you have the beginning of the end, and then the coolest part of it all, to show how Erickson, waxes poetic, connects everything. Sari, from the beginning, that was possessed by Cotillion, one of the assassins, is named Apsalar, right? That's her name that she adopts when she has her mind back. Or rather, that's her name. Apsalara is the original assassin that got the name, that killed, I have it written in the notes, but it's like something from when the Malazan Empire started, and, when Kellanvin and them fell, I believe. But she's there, and she's breaking the chains, so she's going to get out. And so it's like you can feel this convergence of everything, you know what I mean?
It's all coming together.
Yeah, and it's all just in this one continent. It's not touching on Lethrus, it's not touching on 7 cities, but it's like you could feel the end coming now. Like I started it and I got chills. I was like, oh my god, this is going to pay off. So that's the Malazan rant. That's really all I've been up to. Past that, writing, photos, finished JoJo Part 2 on to Part 3. There you go. But that's my thing. Thank you for listening.
That was my TED Talk.
That was my TED Talk on Malazan.
The vibe too. All right. So
that was like a half hour.
Let's get into the news, boys. All right. So first up, let's see, 'cause we actually don't have that much, to be fair. So apparently, Daphne Keaton being addressed for the role of X-23 in MCU. I'm looking forward.
Oh,
yeah, it's pretty interesting.
Yeah,
well, that sounds cool.
I'm like, let's go. Give me her, please.
Change your language a little.
Like my I don't know. I want her as X-23.
No, I was making a bad joke.
I want her as X-23. I think she's I actually don't know how old she is. How old is Logan?
Logan, it's 2017.
2017?
2018. Okay. No, it's 2017.
She's probably teens, if not 20 now. Probably. Maybe.
And don't make it right. No,
but
I don't know what joke. Sorry, I'm dead from this Malazan thing.
It kills him inside.
Man is emotionally spent.
Yeah, she's 18. She's 4'11".
I'm taller than her.
Yeah, someone just told me to just look it up. But yeah, she's like 18 now. So look, it's legal even if it came off weirdly.
Real quick, Flair, if you do go read it, believe me, you'll forget everything I said by then. Trust me, it's a lot. All right, continue.
But I'm really hoping that she gets the role for it. I've been talking for like a while about how I prefer, if anything, for them to just have Hugh Jackman show up in the MCU, be like, all right, I was always here. Peace. Here's my daughter.
No would.
And then we move forward with her as the new Wolverine.
Well, with him, aren't they planning on doing like a multiverse type thing?
Yeah, it's he's gonna be in Deadpool 3, and I don't know how they're gonna play that out, but I know that the idea is that he's gonna be in it for a little bit, and he mentioned that the only reason he would come back is if it was in the MCU. But he's also gone on record recently about a lot of stuff about how like being Wolverine has like destroyed his body in a lot of ways because of the workouts and stuff that he would have to do to maintain that level of physique. And so obviously even if he is the MCU's like quote unquote canon Wolverine, he won't be doing the role for like forever. You definitely can't continue it indefinitely, right? So
That's probably why they're bringing Daphne Keane. Then I got you.
I'm like,
That's
bring
smart.
her in, make her X-23. We all got to work. It's perfect.
Hmm.
We already used to the idea of her playing it, so it's like she's old enough to be the character. She's genuinely old enough to be the character in both instances of her acting career. So I'm like, perfect. Let her do it. I know next up we have we talked about it a little bit. We got Final Fantasy 16. They had like IGN had a hands-on preview. Oh man, that game looks so cool.
It looks incredible.
Just more reason to not have a life in June.
That is. So
in June, bro, all day.
Not only do we have Devil May Cry style action going on in this game,
designed by the guy who did DMC5.
Exactly. But we have giant kaiju battles that we can control as we get to play as the summons.
Mm-hmm.
We got Devil May Cry and now Bayonetta 3. Let's go.
It's all mixed into one. And that just looks crazy. Like they look like the fights in both of these instances look wild. I can't wait to play this. I'm genuinely baffled on how a game like this is gonna play. Mm-hmm. Genuinely, because like the thing about character action games, a lot of them are short games. Like they're not super long. Devil May Cry 5 is not super long, right? Like, and all the Devil May Cry games aren't very long. Bayonetta isn't super long. They just aren't super long games.
But Final Fantasy's long.
Like Final Fantasy is a long game, and the only thing that comes close to being the only thing that is both and worked is Nier Automata is a character action game and an RPG, like a Final Fantasy style RPG. But that game has like a shit ton of breaks where they're like, hey, yeah, you could walk away technically if you wanted to. And then you could just leave, come back later.
Well, I think I saw like what Final Fantasy 16 is going to have like. It's not going to be strict free roam, but it's going to be like larger zones that you can free roam in because it is character action. So I imagine there's going to be some deviation where you can walk off one way, go find somebody, do a side quest or something. And there's got to be some kind of mini games. I wouldn't imagine it'd be 50 hours of just playing it.
Because like, and you're not wrong, because it's one of those things where it's like, when it initially was announced, it seemed almost like a bit of The Witcher. You know what I mean? Like it had like that hint of like go hunt down like your Final Fantasy monster that's in this general area and deal with it, right? Learn how to fight it, get good, things like that. As the game has continued to like progress and you look at it, it obviously is getting crazier, and I wonder exactly what is the percentage of doling out your abilities. Because in a game like Nier, they circumvented it by having, slight spoilers, but multiple playable characters, right? So each person played differently, and as soon as you got completely used and mastered playing one, they'd switch up to another one, and they'd have a different play style, and you get used to that one, and then you play another one, and they'd also have a very different play style, and you get used to that one. In this game, from what we can tell, you're playing as the same character all the way through. Mm-hmm. So I'm wondering, how are they going to circumvent this? Are they going to have a bunch of different weapons? Are they, like, I know getting different of the summons give you different like abilities and styles, so to speak, but I don't know if that affects your base moveset. I know it affects like your overall arcing certain special abilities you can do, right? But I don't know if that's like affecting like how you swing the sword, and does that change how you swing it? You know what I mean? And in a Final Fantasy game that's going to carry on for, let's be real, like they are long games. I just wonder how that's going to play out, because even 7 Remake involves you switching between and changing party members constantly. Even if you didn't have everyone on your team, you're just bouncing back and forth between everybody. And that game is not a full-on character action game, but like the idea is like it has a unique system that has you doing that. So I wonder if that's going to get old. And even as a person that loves games like this, I'm wondering if like, is it possible it can overstay its welcome, or how they're going to handle that is genuinely a curiosity to me.
I just hope.
I'm sure they like that's got to be number one on what they're talking about when they make it, but it's still. I guess it's like the only thing to really be worried about. But what I have confidence in is Yoshi P, but also they have like unlimited budget. You know, if they have messed up, they could just give us 6 months. We'll rehash it in an update or something. I don't know.
It's like we'll do it new. Don't worry.
Mm-hmm.
But Flay, you were gonna say something?
I was gonna say is that I hope the approach they choose to kind of handle the situation where you're playing a longer character action game is just constantly expand options, not take the route of limiting you in the beginning and then getting you forever to get there.
Yeah, just expanding out. So like you mastered the sword, and then they're like, "Hey, look, but we gave you another weapon to master. Look at this. Look at this hammer."
Or like another way to like expand your toolkit and how to use things, like almost like giving you either like instead of just giving you a different way to hit the person, you get a different way to move, or you get a different way to position yourself, or you get a different way to like allow you to use multiple aspects of your brain.
Like the summons, like the attachment that you have to the summons should feel like different characters. You know what I mean? Like I kind of get that, where it's just like, all right, so you've unlocked like you've mastered being Ifrit's thing. That's basically what you're gonna be for like most of the game, with like actually the whole game. He's like, but like, what if we just took everything you knew about Ifrit and just flipped it on its head and say, hey, look, you have Garuda, so now you have like a wind dash off rip and like a bunch of other stuff to unlock for it. You know what I mean? Like that. That'd be cool, and I hope they kind of take that kind of route, because I can't wait. Also, side note, just because we're talking about a Devil May Cry style Final Fantasy game, I want Devil May Cry 6.
Yes,
they hinted at it. I'm ready. I'm ready now.
My body is ready as well.
I need my Nero game where it's just Nero and some new character, because they're gonna do it. They got to throw someone else in.
And then a year later, throw in Virgil again, please. I'm
gonna be so annoyed if they throw in Virgil again. I'm gonna be honest with you. Devil May Cry 5, outdid all of its expectations. The definitive edition let me down so hard.
Why is that?
Because all it introduced was Virgil. The definitive edition right before that one, the definitive edition for 4, gave us Virgil, Lady, Trish. Like three different characters to go through the story with. And Virgil obviously had his own campaign or whatever. Fine, But like Lady and Trish were cool at it, like changes to the story. So it's like you're not even just going, that game has 5 playable characters. And so in this one where you start off with 3 and know that there's like 2 others that show up in the story that you want to play as, and then one other we haven't seen in a long time. And then there's Virgil, because he has to be in every game. To say that the definitive edition took as long as it did to come out, and we only got one person, and the legendary Dark Knight mode obviously came with both the last legendary edition and this one. It's a nice edition to have. Obviously, it's fun, but it's just like I was like, oh man, like that one was a letdown to me. And I know a lot of people lost their shit over Virgil being in that game, but I was like, I wanted to play literally everyone else. I really like how Trish played. I liked how Lady played even more. It's like, and I was looking forward to seeing a different version of Lucia from 2, because let's be real, that character deserves to not be just in 2. The character just deserves not to be trapped in the worst game in the franchise.
And then forgotten.
It could be they've forgotten about her,
Maybe, except for the fact that they didn't, because the book that came out that's about 5. It's like like a before crisis story that happens. She's in it. She's in the book. In fact, and this is how you know like the book is important, and they obviously didn't forget about her. The book is the reason why Dante starts with Balrog. So when you start the game and you just have this weapon, you're like, where did I get this from? Where did this come from? It's like, that's why. Like this book over here where this character exists, that's why he has it. And I'm like, huh.
Cause I was about to say like,
Funny how like she just didn't show up in this game. Real unfortunate, isn't it? Same thing with Lady and Trish, who are also just in this game. They're just in there, but that's like it. And I thought we were gonna get something with them because they got new designs and everything. They're sitting there, and I'm like, I can't wait, and it's just nothing. I'm like, oh, we even got 3 slots.
they came to get folded.
For real, they really did came. They came to get folded, and I was like, oh, it sucks. Because like, you could, as you look through it too, like the way the game is set up, there was the talk of like Ladies' Night, right? Like as a DLC being thing. Mm-hmm. Considering that in 5 we have 3 main male characters, Ladies' Night we would obviously have 3 of the female characters to exist throughout the Devil May Cry series. They could have been dropped directly into all 3 slots and been like, those are your levels.
Have fun.
Exactly. It's like Lady goes wherever Nero went, Trish goes wherever Dante went, Lucia goes wherever V went. Done. Problem solved. But besides that though, we have I'll try to run through these because we have plenty. Like there's not much, but we have this Peter Pan thing. Peter Pan and Wendy. It's a movie. It's kind of it's a movie. There's a show. I hope it's a movie. It's probably a movie.
Paul, it's just
it's
near like Common just hit that Brooklynese right then.
Hey, it'd be like that. Look, I'm just looking at this being like, hey, look, they're bringing back Peter Pan.
Forget
if you liked
about
Peter
it.
Pan, yeah, if you like Peter Pan, you'll like it. It's fine. Basically they're just doing it again. It's a live action reimagining of
I
Peter
feel
Pan.
like it's not necessary, but again, yeah, like you said, if you like it, enjoy it.
It's also kind of funny because I'm looking at it as like I'm looking at this trailer. And I'm like, is this like a darker version of Peter Pan? Like, just from the coloring alone, it just seems like everything is a lot more gray. Like, if that makes any sense. It's like gray scaled a bit down for all the colors. It's desaturated. Because like they was like, nah, no color. Well, not no color, but you know, it's got that like. I know how to describe it. It's got that serious Marvel blue. There's like certain
exactly
there's like certain
I get
movies
you.
specifically that
We
like
talked about that.
it's got serious Marvel blue. It's coming out April 28th. So, you know, be excited for more Peter Pan.
Yeah.
What's another one? Let's talk about Tainted Grail though. Let's talk about this weird behind kind of interesting game that's on early access now. There we go. I think we talked about Tainted Grail before, like it showed up, but it's kind of dope to see that it's on early access. If I'm not mistaken, it's basically kind of like Skyrim, but like in close quarters, like a castle, so to speak. Like a super dungeon is what's happening here. Yeah, first person combat and everything like that. Like it reminded us of Dark Souls a lot, and then we like looked at it and like the gameplay really kicked in, and it's like, oh yeah, it's Skyrim, but it's more focused, which I actually don't think is a bad idea. Yeah. No, it is an open world RPG though. It does say it. Apparently, it still is.
What was the name of this one?
Tainted Grail, Fall of Avalon. Well, it's got the long title thing going on.
Oh, there it is. Yeah.
Actually, out of curiosity, does it have anything before it? I never noticed that. It's coming out March 30th though, so it's early access is coming out March 30th.
Did we look at this at another time during the podcast?
Yeah, like we had talked about it before, and
okay,
now it's officially we're getting the early access thing for it.
This was the one that I think I commented. It looks a little like stiff, but at the same time, the art direction and world looks incredible. I mean, I'm watching the trailer now. It looks really good.
It almost reminds me of some of the stuff in it. Reminds me more of a Infinity Blade than anything else.
Yeah,
And
okay,
I
I
was
see
like, oh,
that.
that's sick.
There needs to be more like free roam first person RPGs like this. Like you would think because of Skyrim it'd be like the norm, but instead we got Far Cry.
Yeah. That's a good point. Instead, we got Far Cry.
I want more first person. So we got Starfield, I guess, but since you have this game up, I have another one. Let me look on my Steam, my wish list. It's an early access game. Well, I'll put that in. Keep an eye on. My bad. Continue.
No problem. Let's see. All right. So we should probably check out this YWB cannot fire Ezra Miller real quick because
I'm actually very interested on that.
I need to know. I'm just genuinely baffled of why this man does not. There's so many questions. There's so many questions. Just to be honest. All right, my bad. Them, they have not been dealt with accordingly. That sounds worse by saying it like that. Dealt with arrested, just fired, and just not no longer with the company.
Oh shit, that's from my wish list. My bad.
All this, minus base. Let me see. Probably should have looked at this beforehand, but I just didn't get a chance to check it out. Let me see. So that way I can hit the video.
Ezra Miller. Look at the Ezra Miller thing, though, didn't they? So they haven't fired him yet.
Oh damn!
Hmm.
Almost blew my eardrums out.
Yeah, same.
Gosh.
But wow,
Okay.
This is considered a bad habit.
Really? Yeah. It's him going through treatment.
Yeah.
That is the main reason why. It's because he's going through treatment specifically.
Decided to get help.
That he is or they're void of I guess consequences from WB specifically.
No.
But I ain't gonna front. I definitely would have got them out of the project the moment they started messing up. But they're allowed to be like, hey, look, he's going through treatment. They'll be fine. They'll be fine.
I'll give him this, man. I like what's called. I like his portrayal of the Flash. A lot of people didn't. I didn't at first. Kind of watched it more. Watching the trailer for the Flash movie, it's like I like it.
I hope they do good in this new one, right? I hope that it's a good version of the Flash in this movie coming out. But like, damn, like the other versions,
It keeps going to my.
the one in Justice League and the one in well, I guess it's both versions of Justice League. That's where they exist.
Hmm.
I'm kind of good on, like, personality wise, I don't think it's too bad, right? It's kind of whatever.
Here it
But
is.
for sure, the running is the main thing that kills me every time, dude.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. It's kind of like I guess he's too fast, too furious. I'm gonna go to hell for that, but you know what I mean? He's just, I guess it's because he's like so fast he's flinging himself. In a way, it makes sense, but I agree. It's kind of
It's so bad. It's so bad.
insulting.
It's insulting to
viewer.
anyone that runs. It's insulting to
Yeah.
my eyes.
Like, imagine you're a track star, you know, and you watch the movie, you're just like, I give up.
It's not even a matter of having good form. It's like, do your legs work properly?
I'm glad I've committed my life to this. I quit.
But yeah, pretty much the main reason for those that aren't aware is because he's going treatment. He's actually undergoing treatment. They cannot fire him. It's just it's that simple. It's like Ezra Miller is actively trying to fix the problem, so they're like, you know what? We'll let you fix it. We'll let you do that.
I mean, he could reform, you know?
Mhm.
And if he has a great comeback story, look at that. We still
I know,
have a
right?
good
Because
Flash.
like Robert Downey Jr. same way, right?
Mm-hmm.
Had a really bad drug problem, went through like some really lows, came
Yeah.
back from it. He's Iron Man now.
Yeah.
He
So,
is
like, I
Iron
think
Man and Sherlock Holmes, both.
think about we're all young once, you know, and like I'm in the past have been quick to judge like that, but like as I'm getting older, kind of focusing more on stuff, you know, it's like, I mean, shoot, we all make mistakes. You know, if you go and judge somebody on a harsh or bad thing they did, I'm not saying it's always right and, you know, don't remember it, but in some cases like this one, maybe wait it out, see what happens, and if he truly learns from it, well, then, you know, keep it going. Because it's also that weird case of like, if there's a good artist, but they're doing bad stuff, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, we will.
I don't know. It's strange. Life is
I'll
strange.
refrain from any further judgment, but like the stuff that was done when Ezra Miller was going on their little rampage,
He was a hoe, you know.
there was some villainous acts going on.
Oh yeah.
And I'm
I'm
just
not
like,
denying that.
you know, it's one of those things where you're like, I don't know if we can overlook this. We'll see how this plays out. If you're truly repentant and you know actually are doing your best because you are currently trying to seek help, fine. Like I'll forgive you. Like it happened. That sucks though for those people that were involved. But like you caused some heavy trauma to some people.
Yeah.
Like some heavy trauma.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll just like I said, we'll see how this plays out, and you know if things work out
Yeah.
for the best, right? It's like you went through this time, you caused some people some pain, but you are regretful of that. You want to be a better person. You're seeking to be a better person. Good. Um, it's the same like I guess qualms I have. Not the exact same qualms, but same idea I have with X Tentacion or XX Tentacion, where it's like you might have wanted to be in X's case he died early, right? So it's like you might have wanted to be a better person, but if you never actually truly got there, you were never forgiven. So you know, as far as I'm concerned, you still died a horrible person.
Yeah.
But a lot of people do like to make the argument that it's like he was trying his best towards the end to try to be better, and I'm like, that's fine, but you need to get there first. And that's just how I feel about it. He was like, it's good that you had the intentions to start, but if you don't make it there, then you're not forgiven yet.
Mm-hmm.
So Ezra, I'm not wishing death on him by any means. No, I'm not doing that. But like, you know, we'll see how this plays out. I hope your redemption story comes to a proper conclusion. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Next we got. Okay, Flair, you get to go crazy. We got Tekken 8.
And it's my main.
It's Jin Kazama.
Excuse me.
All right, so I'm gonna let you give me the breakdown on this one.
God,
What's different about Jin in this game?
everything you've seen
Besides
in that
the coat.
trailer, and yeah, his drip is pretty immaculate in this game.
His drip is Rock Howard's drip. I really want to point it out, but you know.
But yes, in this Jin trailer, they did a lot by showing as much. They showed a lot and a little at the exact same time. Like they just showed just enough to like see what is going to be different for Jin in Tekken 8, and they showed a lot of crazy enders, and they followed pretty much the exact same structure as Kaz's trailer, where you see their new strings, their new enders. You see like what inspiration they have behind their new moves, like in just like Kaz. The Mishimas have been stealing moves from each other. Jin is so special he stole from himself. Stealing moves.
He got older moves back.
He stole from Devil Jin, his devil version as well. He got some moves from his father and got some from his grandfather. As the Mishimas tend to steal quite a bit. Apparently. It also looked like
do be villains.
Also feels like hanging around Lars got him doing some new kind of flip kicks into the air now. He
stole from Lars too.
Like everybody knows Lars was always the anime Mishima, and now he just inherited a little bit of it. And I'm like, oh god, here we go.
Looks very good.
But yeah, they've shown off like a lot of the new, like a little scary mechanics with the heat mechanics and the fact that you can re-splat people on walls. That's really a really big change, and that's kind of scary. Like instead of like around towards the end of the lifespan of Tekken 7, they added the new functionality like wall splats and wall stuns. It looks like wall stuns are back. Like certain moves, whether you get hit or you get blocked, it'll bounce you against the wall, and you get into like a state in which the person gets some extra plus frames. So like you got to hold that mix. Now you have like you splat someone on the wall, you can do a particular move and put them higher onto the wall and splat them again, and it's just that's crazy to think about.
So if someone's good, they can kind of just juggle you up against the wall.
Yeah, and if
that sounds like controller breaking.
It can be sometimes.
It could be. It could be. It's the kind of thing that'll. It's the kind of thing that'll definitely send some fists through some TVs, maybe, on the right circumstances.
Yeah, especially with how much wall carry some characters can have, you can be hit at the start of the game and be like, well, damn, I lost the round. Crazy. As the person juggles you all the way to the wall, then resplats you against the wall. It's like some of the crazy stuff that Akuma and Geese would do in Tekken 7.
Mm-hmm.
Except now.
Oh, yeah, on that specific stage.
And then, except now, everybody's can do it. So.
Well, you know how I feel about that. If everyone could do it,
can't be broken.
It's fair game. It ain't broken. If everyone could do it, it ain't broken.
Well, one of the things that I've noticed from like at least like the gameplay breakdowns, not from that trailer specifically, they're giving characters either more health or attacks are doing less damage.
One of the two, because Tekken health do be kind of breaking. Like just 7 specifically, it seemed like you had a lot. You'd start off the game and it would look like you had a lot. And then you got good, and then you realize you actually didn't have any.
You have like 2 touches. Like, 2 good touches and you're usually dead. And that's how quick a game of Tekken can really end. It's one of those things where games usually don't last a long time, but they can just be like, you literally blinked and missed it.
I was like, damn, how'd he die so fast? Oh, what you missed was... He touched the corner a little too hard, and that was it.
His opponent
had him.
Caught him in 3
every single time.
Lifted him into the air, and then the round was over. Because it happened twice.
What you missed was Akuma did a stomp, put him through the floor, and that was it. That's all he needed.
But yeah, Jin is looking immaculate in Tekken 8 with a lot of the new changes that they're giving him. I can't wait to play him. Too bad all the location tests are in arcades in Japan. I can't afford a ticket for that.
Truly unfortunate.
But I'm hoping that like by Evo's time we might have like some sort of open, closed beta, whatever, so I can at least have an attempt to try and play it. Because I'm actually going to be trying to go to Evo this year. So if they have a playable build of the game there, that would also be amazing.
I'll bet. There's a decent amount of games that are like coming out right now. 6 is gonna be at Evo.
Yeah, Tekken 6 is that's the Tekken 6.
Well, no, not 6. Street Fighter 6.
Fighter
6 is gonna be at Evo.
Yeah,
too.
Street Fighter 6 is. I'm debating on entering it. Because
one seems like they want to. $1 million.
That and the fact that like the game will only have been out for a month at the time, so like anybody could really win.
Anybody could take it, yeah. At that point, anyone.
And if you can play and actually get to the point where you're pretty good and you know the game, you have a chance. This is why I feel like that, and along with everything else, is going to make that game like just pretty ridiculous. And then there's the fact that, I don't know, Mortal Kombat 11 got announced last week, I guess. Like,
it's coming.
Mortal Kombat 12.
It's coming back to. Oh yeah, sort of, kind of. Yeah, nah, that's true. Like Ed Boon was just kind of like, yeah, it's a thing, I guess. Like, everyone just kind of looks and goes, "It's not really a confirmation, but I'll take it."
It's like it's not really a leak kind of leak, but it's kind of a leak because Warner Brothers was like, yeah, we plan to get some major profits in Mortal Kombat 12 this year. Oh,
yeah, they should have waited and done a PR campaign, I think, but.
See, I agree, but at the same time, I'm also sitting there just thinking about Mortal Kombat, like, in general, and I'm like, NetherRealms only ever makes 2 games. They really only got 2. So it's like, hey, they haven't put out anything in a while. I wonder what it could be. It's either going to be Injustice 2 or...
It's a new IP.
Injustice 3. Injustice 3.
Mortal Injustice.
Or...
Combat.
Injustice 3. Or a Mortal Kombat game. And so it's like, well, we'll see what it is. We'll just see. And they're like, I don't know, man. We don't know if we're doing another Injustice. So they're like, okay, cool. We'll wait for 12, I guess.
Sneaky link. I know what you're making.
It's not even surprising. So like I think there was a while back, like Ed Boon had said something about like we're probably working on one or the other, and everybody lost their shit and was like, yeah, no shit, they're probably working on one or the other. It's the only thing they make. Thanks, thanks for that information, I guess.
So there were a lot of rumors circulating of what kind of games NetherRealm were working on. At the time.
Yeah, there were some weird rumors about them not actually making a fighting game this time, and I was like, huh, weird, right? Like it's like that sounds crazy. Them not making, maybe they're like people were thinking it might have been a Shaolin Monks 2, right? Getting another beat 'em up. But
Yeah,
we were looking at it really just kind of like maybe, but like there's no way no one in that studio is working on like 12 or Injustice 3. It's just impossible that no one's working on it.
it was actually one of those things that was funny because there was that poll that he put up shortly after MK11, well, about a month or so after MK11 came out, and it was a poll pretty much saying like, what game would you look forward to the most? And the choices were Mortal Kombat 12, Injustice 3, a new Shaolin Monks, or a new IP.
I wonder what won.
The question of what won was Mortal Kombat 12.
Oh, of course. No, I guess so.
The very close second was a new Shaolin Monks. And then after that, it was like a new IP. No one wanted Injustice 3.
Damn. No one wanted Injustice 3. Damn. No one wanted Injustice 3. I probably would have wanted the new IP more. I would have liked to see what they could have done outside of Mortal Kombat. Because it's like, all right, like give me something new, right? And if not, it would have been Shaolin Monks. I would have just liked to see something different. You know what I mean? But it's fine, I guess. I guess we just go directly with 12.
Right into 12.
The fact that everybody is just like, give me a new 12. It's like, no, Joe, you don't even want to see an attempt at something new. not even attempt. It was like Shaolin Monks was sitting there being like, hey, look, man, we could be a new game. We could be another one. Why not? Damn. Unfortunate.
Yeah, nah, it was like not 12.
Next up on this list, we got Bayonetta Origins. It's got a nice little breakdown trailer. Essentially, it's just some new gameplay that looks at the game and how it's been so far. It
looks interesting.
It is interesting. It manages to still be kind of an action game, but it's a little weird. It's more puzzly.
Mm-hmm.
It's not as super high fidelity, crazy platinum action, but the art's going crazy, so I'm not mad. The art's kind of doing way more than it needs to.
What you got going on right here?
Yo, a little cute over here.
Yeah.
Honestly, real talk, if they could get the next Bayonetta game to just look like this, not exactly like the proportions, but just like the
art
the
style,
way
yeah.
it looks, like
but in
art,
the third person at combat, oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm like that would be a nice way to take the series. Is all I'm saying.
You're looking like Okami over here. I kind of want to kiss you.
But I hope this game turns out to be good. I feel like it's a little overpriced, considering it. But maybe there's more to this game that meets the eye, because like it's almost like
if you want to quote Transformers, that's fine, but don't do it when I'm here. I'm kidding.
Shoot, you play it and it's actually like a 60 to 80 hour experience.
I was like, that'd be crazy. I'm like, all right, well, shit. But next up on this, we have Die Hard 2, Die Harder.
God.
I didn't even know it was a movie the first time I watched it. It's a Roku original.
I didn't know there was a first one, to be honest.
That's what I'm saying. I'm guessing he's just having fun.
Yeah.
It's just Kevin Hart doing Kevin Hart stuff
Gotta love
in an action movie.
He's hit or miss, man. It's like, it's either going to be super funny or it's going to be super, oh, that's Kevin Hart, you know?
Yeah. I'm hoping for the super funny aspect of it, honestly. Because it's just not often you get to see him in like a more serious role, and I know it's going to be a comedy. It's going to be a comedy, but like it's more serious than most of his other stuff. That makes any sense. So I'm looking forward to at least enjoying that much of it. Next up, we got Ultimate Sackboy, which I'm gonna be real, I don't know what this is.
what is it? A
I
bunch of
saw it
mini
was
games?
like, hey yo, wait, I'm down for Little Big Planet. So let's take a little gander. Is it an Infinite Runner? It is an Infinite Runner.
Ah, is it on phone or is it? It's gotta
That,
be.
that's probably on
Yeah,
phone because it's an
yeah.
Infinite
It's
Runner.
it's just their version of Subway Surfer,
Yeah,
or rather, this would be. Yeah, no, it's Subway Surfer.
yeah, no, it's Temple Run or Subway Surfer. I guess it's more Subway Surfer because Subway Surfer has the rails
It's got a
specifically.
train that comes in
Yeah,
this, and you can
and
break the train. And
Temple
it's new.
Run didn't have lanes. It just kind of was you gotta hit them turns real quick.
Yeah, I like Little Big Planet though.
Yeah, I know.
There's only
Right?
one thing I'm gonna say.
I'm glad they're using Sackboy and more stuff.
Have you? Some people they've spent like years making like Final Fantasy VII in it, and it's like, my God, bro, what are you doing?
Hey man, they gave them an engine and they went to work. They got jobs from it, actually. To be fair.
Yeah, Dreams too. Dreams is crazy apparently.
Yeah, like I see some of the crazy stuff that people have made in that game, and it is freaking ridiculous. People have made just like so many different kinds of games within that game.
Mm-hmm. Dreams is just a tech demo for their engine. Go ahead and apply now, I guess.
Also, next up, hey yo, so Joe Matt's coming back. He's continuing Battle Chasers after fucking 22 years, bro. Why did you take
Never
a
read
hiatus for 22 years? But he's on his way back. I'm looking forward to reading this again because like this. I mean, I played it mainly through the game, the RPG that they had, but this thing is cool. Like Battle Chasers is cool. I don't know if you ever looked at Battle Chasers or like got into
Never
it.
did, but the art's pretty good, man.
They live in an arcane punk world, and I'm like, you know what? I can like it.
Arcane Punk. Ooh. Okay.
Oh, both. Like the comic. This is the comic. Originally, I believe it was originally a comic. Then they made the game. Yeah, they made the game later, and then they did some other stuff here and there. But like, yeah, Joe Matt is. I always liked his art back when he worked for Marvel and did some crazy stuff. It's a vibe to see that he's back again.
He's got a very anime art style, but it's like
It's
Western
very-
anime.
Yeah, it's like the epitome of like. It's the epitome of like over exaggerated everything, right?
Yeah,
like
it's like what the '90s. It's the my bad, hit the mic, but it's like the best of the '90s meets. Often, I think like some of the best of anime too. This guy's got a good style. I don't know why I said style like that. It just came out.
It's like the muscle characters are more muscly than ever. The females are just as voluptuous as ever. Everything is extreme, and we like the extreme because it's funny.
Extreme looks good, man. You know.
Honestly, yeah. Like if you can make it look good, extreme looks awesome. Next up we got Beneath, which
Looks like Fear 3 or 4.
I was gonna say like these horror games are really just coming out now. Like they just have been nonstop.
This one,
plenty of them.
yeah.
no, I'm not gonna lie. This one probably could use some, based on the trailer alone, probably use touch-up works. Looks like
the 10 frames.
Yeah, looks like it could use some extra frames for sure. Put some extra frames in the budget.
I didn't know they got Tom Cruise to do the voice acting.
They did.
No, I'm joking. It just, I thought it, and one of the top comments is that too, and I was like, yeah, I'm not the only one who heard it.
He just sounds like it. Fair enough. Imagine Tom Cruise really worked on it. It'd be great. Good job though for getting the sound right. As far as like if you sound like Tom Cruise, it's like fuck it. We'll use off-brand Tom Cruise.
Dude, your voice just be you.
He's like, but it looks like a fun
honestly,
game.
it looks. Yeah,
It's all right.
it's
Looks
like
like
I said,
they're
it
doing
looks
some
like
really
Fear. There's like the destruction. There's the way the gun moves around and stuff. It looks like old Fear games.
Which I mean, hey, Fear was a pretty good franchise.
Mm-hmm.
It's a vibe to try
Yes,
to do it again, sort of, kind of, to recapture those moments and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Next up we have Age of Wonders 4. If I'm not mistaken, this is a not CRPG. It's
It's like
strategy RPG. Which, I mean, hey, you like your strategy RPGs? I mean,
oh,
it's
this
a vibe.
is like little bit like Civilization.
Yeah, it's like Civ. It's like Civ and what's the other one? I'm blanking on. It's like War. It's not Warhammer, but like
Total
Warcraft.
War.
Warcraft.
Oh,
Yeah,
Oh,
Total
Warcraft.
War.
Okay, I see it. Yeah, it's more Warcraft. I was gonna say it's not Total War.
I was like, but it's a vibe if you like those kind of
I
games.
was thinking like,
I have a soft spot for them, but I haven't played them in like years, man. Like Civ is probably the closest thing, and I'll play Civ every so often. But like, there's a difference between like playing Civ and then playing like other ones, like something more like
Stellars.
StarCraft and stuff like that. Yeah, like those feel different, and I haven't touched those in like forever. We also have Dragonair, Silent God. I'm trying to remember what this one was.
I just know one thing. When I first saw it, I was like, "Is this a Torchlight commercial?"
I do kind of seem like that, don't it? I could have sworn we had gameplay for this at some point, but not. It's definitely not in this trailer.
He's on my Dragonair.
Yeah, for Dragonair. It's looking fully cinematic, and so that doesn't help me at all. But it looks like it's pushing a D&D kind of thing. So
Here it
might
is.
be
If you
CRPG.
search it up, I think you could find the gameplay.
Oh, here's the description. Silent God is an open world fantasy RPG that pushes you into a world to control over 200 heroes.
Whoa!
Wait a minute.
It's a
That's a lot of
tactical RPG, I think. Yeah, that's what you'd call it.
Open
Or
world
200
tactical RPG.
Yeah, it's an experience in strategy combat. Okay, it's a strategy combat game. Tactics.
So that sounds more like dang, what was that game that we played? It was me, you, Nips, and Narda. Divinity: Original Sin. It sounds a lot like that.
Yeah, Divinity.
Dude, look
No,
at the
for that.
gameplay. Yeah, it looks like Divinity. Like you roll the dice and like move around with the top down view, but then when you go in combat, it turns into tactical, just like Divinity. I mean, well, on its own battlefield, so it's a little bit different, but it's cool.
It's like,
Look.
yeah, CRPG is always down. Always down for this. Good CRPG. This trailer doesn't help visualize it, but it's doing a cool thing when it's doing it. Next up we have Iris and the Giant. Honestly, this game just looked pretty.
Mm-hmm.
That's the main thing. Let me see. Guessing from vibes, it's probably. Let me see what it's about. Get the proper description up.
What's his name? My favorite voice actor's in it.
Oh, did us?
Yeah, he's the dad.
Oh damn!
Who? Let me see.
Liam.
Actually, I probably won't know it. Oh, is he actually?
I don't know if it is, but it sounds an awful lot like him. If you go to about 55 seconds.
I'm trying to see if I can hear him. I can't actually recognize the voice. I'm not gonna front.
It might
Yes.
not be him.
Iris Giant is a fusion of collectible card games with RPG and roguelike elements, which I'm assuming. Yeah, okay.
That sounds cool.
Very much off rip. I had a feeling. I was like, we're dealing with the idea of like depression and things of that nature, and like expectations.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was like she's braving the fears of her imagination behind the game. Unique minimal art style. It's a vibe. It's real. It's a cool one. It's like touch the young woman facing the inner demons and soothing the raging giant inside.
That sounds.
It's
actually...
probably like a bit of like depression and anger issues, real far as like expectations and things like that goes. Like pressure.
I have to give that a try.
It's cool. Definitely something that you should play if you need to relax, have some fun, enjoy yourself, and like a good story. All right. Next up, so I ain't even gonna front. I don't know how to pronounce this name.
The T word.
The
Thaumaturge, I think.
Thaumaturge.
Thaumaturge. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it is Thaumaturge.
That's my
That's very
guess.
Diablo.
Because D&D has taught me thaumaturgy, and looking at it, I'm like, that's close. But every time I look at that word, I'm just like, geez.
This is a
Or,
gameplay
jeez.
cinematic trailer.
So as I'm trying to look at the trailer for this, The Mandalorian popped up. So I guess we'll just talk about that real quick. Hey, yo, Mandalorian, the new season is coming out. I guess the thing just told me, hey, talk about Mandalorian now. It looked good. It's Mando season 3 or 4. It's 3. I think
Pedro
it's 3.
Pascal said, "I'm not done. You're still watching me again."
He was like, so we're gonna be watching that. We're gonna be watching that whenever. I mean, it's out now. I just have to start watching it. It's mainly the deal. So I'll get to that when I get to that. Thermocloud, you said it was like Diablo.
That's how I felt
Dark
like.
fantasy. Yeah, it's looking
Then
like dark Victorian.
yeah, and then I'd say I started
maybe
seeing like the
maybe a
gameplay.
little-
It looks more like a turn-based RPG, it has like a lot of top-down camera, and the movement kind of reminds me of like a Diablo-esque game.
Yeah, it did look like it has like a cinematic. Is that cards? Do I see cards? I'm gonna go back a little bit. I saw some gameplay, but I'm like, did I just see cards?
I saw the fact that you like summon different beasts in there, almost SMT-esque.
Bro, if this is just like a Victorian or a Shinigami, not yeah, Shinigami Tensei. Yeah,
My first question is, why have we not done this before?
Wait, that's what the thaumaturge is?
yeah. It seems like
Victorian
it's just like a
Shinigami
Western style. He's like summoning things as if it's like kind of like
That
it.
sounds
So
cool.
It turns out to be like that. That's kind of fun.
Oh. Okay, I see.
That I could just kind of like be.
And it does look like you were customizing your demons a little bit.
Mhm.
You had more than one.
It's taking a long. Yeah, why is there not more Shin Megami Tensei? Or Digimon? Or Pokemon? But from the West.
Actually, there's a ton of Pokemon clones out there. Good ones too, honestly. Like people really started going like, I'm upset with Pokemon. I'm gonna make something better.
Temtem.
But Temtem is out here. So we got Clash Artifact of Chaos, which I believe we talked about, but apparently like we had the nighttime gameplay, which looks kind of wild. Why did it look like? I'm not gonna find. It seems like the camera zoomed in more from the last time we saw it, so now it's more like God of War. Yeah, it looks way more like God of War.
Oh God, yeah.
God of War or
Like God of War Borderlands style.
or Absolver. Yeah, for real. Which are just a crazy like golem
Mhm.
thing. It looks cool. It looks cool. Nighttime seems like you just gonna be throwing hands though is the move.
Oh, and some feats.
So it's crazy though. What an interesting world with what looks like a very ugly looking main character. Though. I'm not gonna front. I was like, this main character is not something I usually want to play as, but the nighttime stuff looks cool when you get to be a golem, so I'm down.
The art style is really. I want to see more of this,
Yeah.
There
For
can't
sure.
be an embargo from Borderlands forever.
See, like that's the thing. Like just because you don't like Borderlands, is fine. But I just feel like that art style is useful in other things, for sure. And so it's like, I'd want to see it be done in other things. Like my biggest pet peeve, but it's not really a problem, but like I find that like it is an unfortunate misstep. Well, not a misstep, but missed opportunity. Is that for instance, the Spider-Man games or any other Batman games never came out with this like that cel shaded kind of style, with the exception of like that Telltale's Batman game. But that's not really the game I wanted to play as Batman in a cel shaded environment. It's a good game, but it's not really the one I want. It's not how I wanted to play those games. You know what I mean? But like the fact that like Spider-Man, both the Spider-Man games and all the Arkham games came out and was just like, yeah, we're just not gonna bother trying to be like a cel shaded one. I'm like, oh man, what a missed opportunity. And obviously Logan's not gonna be either, like the Wolverine game that's coming out. So it's like, damn, missed opportunity to do something really cool with the thing. We already talked about Mandalorian. Last up, we got Haunted Mansion.
That looks hilarious.
It does, honestly. It's been a minute.
You get this.
Yeah, the Haunted
Mansion.
I want to.
Yeah.
It looks strange.
With Danny DeVito.
Good, funny, but like, I mean, it's kind of like, I don't know why they're making another one. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't that long ago we had the Eddie Murphy one, but then B, it's like it's a very like it's a mishmash of characters, but it works.
Yeah.
You know?
So they're just having some fun with it. Which I guess Haunted
wanna go
Mansion
see
is
it,
kind of one of those ideas you could just have fun with.
Owen Wilson and Danny DeVito in one movie, and it's not the early 2000s. This is crazy.
And Rosario Dawson as well.
Exactly.
And Lakeith
And
Stanfield.
that man is hilarious. His movie's about to be weird.
They're having fun with that one though. We had the Dead Island 2 extended gameplay trailer as well,
Still sure.
so that everyone can get a nice little visuals and stuff of what's going on in the world of Dead Island.
This game
Honestly?
is like Bayonetta 3 for me. I still don't believe it exists.
Yeah, for real. It's not out till it's in your hand.
I do think it looks like. God, I've been talking a lot today. Anyway, like I think it looks pretty cool. You know, like it's like how Dead Island was the precursor, then Dying Light was like what Techland went off with and wanted to do. Now Dead Island 2 is what the precursor has evolved in with another company in another direction. You know, it's,
It is the gore tech on this is ridiculous. Genuinely, it is violent, for sure. But the other thing about it is like I'm kind of looking at it, just kind of being like, well, like I said, till it gets in my hand, it doesn't look bad combat wise because Dead Island ran into some problems towards the end, and maybe they've figured out that they're either gonna give you guns more often and probably sparse out the ammo a bit more or something like that, or melee is going to be the real focus, like for real. Like they want you to use melee throughout the whole game because, if I'm not mistaken, the original Dead Island had a huge problem with the later half of the game becoming kind of like boring. Also, it does look it's getting kind of wild and nutso with what you're doing.
Yeah.
But yeah, the original one had a problem where like once you got guns, the game became like a weird cakewalk and kind of boring at the same time. Like everything was.
If you weren't using guns, you were playing the game wrong, and then the guns were just busted beyond belief. Because everything you could do to the weapons, you could do to the guns.
And it was just kind of like, well, never having to use melee again.
Yeah.
Which is not a bad thing, but it's just like for a game that's about like being in intense survival situations, it does kind of go like that.
From what it looks like, it's like there's heavy melee focus, heavy crafting on the melee, but then the guns are great, but then ammo is scarce, so you want to save it, which I think is perfect.
And with this game, since they're leaning in more to the craziness, they don't have to worry about maintaining that tenseness anymore. Like the idea of like fighting a zombie is like problems. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You're just kind of like an electrical Wolverine claws. They're pretty much leaning into what was it called? Dead Rising.
Yes.
What Dead Rising is, and was, I guess, because like I haven't seen another one of those since 4. I think 4 killed the franchise.
Capcom can find a way to fix it. They're fixing everything now.
They are not wrong. You're not wrong. They are fixing everything right now. They're doing it.
I'm still waiting on Exo Primal though, but I'll give them time.
So Primal, we'll see. That one's kind of clean. It's kind of weird though, but it's kind of clean. If they decide to not be cowards and just go like, look, it's in the same world as Dino Crisis, then I'll be like, you know what? You win. But until they do that, still kind of being cowards. Next up we have the Skier Ritual, which episode 3 is out. That's the deal. I think we talked about this when both episode 1 and episode 2 came out. So yeah, episode 3 is out. If you've been enjoying this first-person shooter kind of horror experience, enjoy it. Well, it's more like horror themed, I'd say, than an actual horror experience. It's horror themed because I don't know about anybody, but I'm not really afraid of giant rats, and the guns you got going on are clearly not meant to be afraid. You're meant to mow things down. But it's a vibe.
Eminem, I'm not afraid.
And lastly, hey yo, we getting Metroid Fusion back. They dropping it again. Damn, no reason to do that, but I'll do it. They really just giving love to Metroid now. Like after ignoring it for so long, it's crazy. We had Dread, then we had Prime, then we had this,
And they're bringing
and they're
them all back.
all just coming out.
Nintendo knows how to get into your nostalgia. They just pick and choose when they'd like to.
Now I'm not gonna lie, just having a re-release though. Although to be fair, I don't blame them for just making a straight up just re-release. It's fine. I was curious if they were gonna, maybe remake it, dread it up a bit. You know what I mean? But I'll play the original. Having the original is just as good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right. So that's it for the news. We got our nice little bit that we gotta go to. So keep an eye on. It's actually kind of long this time. Got a lot of shit. A lot of shit to keep an eye on this time. So first off, I want to show you guys Infinite Guitars, which Flair, you'll have a kick out of this one. It's a rhythm RPG is about fighting mechs with guitars. Yeah, it's a rhythm RPG that's about fighting mechs with guitars. Guitar solos specifically, actually, it says here.
And you have to release sync levels to release attacks. This is freaking sick.
Yup. Saw this one. It has an amazing art style. Looks awesome. Like I said, all the mini games are like rhythm games. You're having fun with it to release different types of attacks on robots and stuff like that. It's clean. It's really clean. If you like Fully Cooley, you're gonna probably get a kick out of this. I'm not gonna front. Because if it wasn't inspired by this, then what are we doing? In fact, it was.
Is it almost like a JRPG, but whenever they attack, you like play the guitar?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Oh, that's.
And I'm watching the gameplay of it, and this looks pretty hard.
Extremely well animated. There's tons of little mini games for like actually every single thing you're dealing with. So like, there's one further down where you're like running and dodging for certain types of attacks. So your character is doing a mini game in which they are animated to be sprinting, and a reticle appears, and your characters, you have almost free control over them on a 2D plane to jump, move, and dodge over whatever attacks are being done to them in some instances. In other instances, like we saw, you're playing a rhythm game, you're loading up power. Like, it's one of those super active RPGs is the best way I can kind of describe it, where like, if you know how to play an RPG, it's not good enough. You have to have some type of tactile skill.
Awesome.
And this is releasing way sooner than I thought it was. This is releasing like the 30th of this month.
Damn, more money?
Yeah, March 30th. It's releasing straight up 2023. This is way sooner than I thought. It's releasing on Nintendo Switch, Xbox Game Pass, and PC. So, unfortunately, no PlayStation out here. Didn't know that. Unfortunate, but shit, crazy.
I like how the UI is kind of like reminiscent of like Earthbound, Mother kind of RPG kind of games, or if you go back, want to go a little bit earlier, Okori, I think his name is. It's like a really big throwback to that one as well. Like where you have like the main, like the enemy is like the main background, and then all your characters are just portraits on the screen.
It's like the classic one from time I remember, but I can't remember. Like there's a ton of them that are like that. That old kind of first person RPG.
Oh, dungeon crawlers, right?
Yeah, sort of. Yeah, actually. Dungeon crawler RPG.
Excuse me.
But by all means, please go check them out. That shit is fire. I'll repeat the name again for those. It is Infinite Guitars. Drops this month. I really thought we had more time. So here's another game that we do have more time on. It's Hyperstars. It's a 2D fighting game in which I find really interesting because the main health mechanic is momentum. The entire deal is that you're doing the best you can to be offensive against your opponent. The more hits you get on them, the more life you get back, the more you push them into a corner, essentially. the health bar is essentially shared, and you're pushing the meter back and forth between the two of you, and whoever gets to the end is how you get the round, essentially.
Oh, that's cool.
And it's kind of like there's a mode in this similar to this in Street Fighter 6.
It's about. It's actually really cool.
Like you know that little move the mode they were showing off with the bull. It kind of functions like this.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so whoever has the momentum, the bull comes out and attacks for them.
Not really. The bull is just kind of like a random element in a fight, except you don't win by like just, reducing your opponent's health to 0. They have like a little momentum gauge, and the bull just does like a huge chunk
of it. Okay. So I never got to play the beta for 6. I wanted to, but I didn't get a chance to touch it.
Good eye.
This looks crazy. I'm vibing with Hyperstars. Cool. Hyperstars is obviously kind of early, but I'm looking forward to it. I like the main character already. Off rip, we got a Punch Girl. Off rip is one of the main people being made first, so of course I'm down. She got the huge gauntlets. Sick.
And he means gauntlets.
They are gauntlets. It's a vibe. I'm looking forward to checking it out. Hyperstars. Look it up, guys. Look it up.
It's like a paper anime sock'em boppers.
Sock poppers. But nah. We'll see how the art style turns out, because we're obviously still pretty early. Just getting the fighting game mechanics down. But I hope they keep this momentum thing up though. I think this will actually be really fun. Let's see, what else? Hobo Cat Games, what you got? Motor Doom. This shit's wild. So, you ever wanted to play like a Tony Hawk game or an SSX game that just lets you like murder demons?
I can't say it ever crossed my mind, but it does look great.
And even if you didn't, I mean, you should want to, because look at it.
Spice up Tony Hawk, a little of the occult.
Yeah, let's just murder some demons while we, do tricks in midair, flexing to our friends.
Bro, that's a sick kickflip. Let me kill.
Exactly, you got a sick kickflip that killed like 15 demons.
God, that's a mad combo, bro. Did you kill him?
Yo, I did Christ air while killing the devil. It was crazy.
It was wild.
Christ air, just like beam of light, kills everything on the screen. Stop hitting the Christ air mid combo, bro. You're killing all the enemies. It's not fun anymore.
The deal is to keep the tricks going as much as possible while executing everything, and while your style meter goes up, so does the crazy shit that happens on screen. It looks amazing. You're also shooting while doing it too. So you have a gun. And it looks like a book. There is a book floating around here. I saw that too. I'm trying to figure out if it's a spell book or a Bible. Either way. It's kind of sick.
I don't want to be a dictator, but can we jump to Samurai Unicorn like right now? Flair, have you looked at it? Go. It's the second. No, it's the last
Sam
one.
Uni.
Yeah.
Trust me.
Samurai Unicorn is kind of fire.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, dude! I was watching. My jaw dropped, and I was just watching it in silence. Oh my god, this looks good.
So think of us. So basically, it's a cyberpunk world, right? Where you are a Resident Evil character with a JoJo stand.
In PS1 graphics.
In PS1 style graphics. Maybe PS2.
It looks
phenomenal.
so good, dude. Like, they nailed the look, the feel, and then it was like epic and cinematic. I was like, bro, we didn't get games like that on the PS1 with these visuals. We kind of did, but not like this. This is... God, this looks good.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Samurai Unicorn gets sick, bro.
Boy, he pushed that dude in front of a train.
I can't
God, bro, that like threw me back to playing like Legacy of Kain and a bunch of other games when I was a kid.
Oh, it's just something fun about this. It's just the idea that you're just running around with a gun being like, you know what, I am a Resident Evil character, but I could like do so much more though. I could just do a little bit more. They also like the the designers of like messing around with some of the art for the game and stuff like that. I'm trying to find it. There's like a picture they did earlier where it's like your titular character in their stand just kind of chilling, vibing. I'm looking forward to playing it though. Actually, I would love to know when it comes out.
Okay, I see the gameplay. Yeah, so you just walk around with a flashlight and you kind of survive in a side. Man, that what a mishmash. This is a good. I'm excited for this.
I'm telling you, it's Resident Evil, but if you had a stand.
Oh, and then here's like a city street where there's like, oh god, dude.
And instead of zombies, they're like, well, I mean, I guess instead of bioweapons, they're still technically bioweapons, but they're more techno-organic than anything else.
Yeah.
Which is still cool.
Bro, they
I saw Samurai and lost it.
I'll be honest, I don't even think Signalis looks like as PS1 as this. This is like
Signalis, keep in mind Signalis is kind of zoomed out and it goes into anime cutscenes to hide a lot of its to hide some of it, sort of.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like certain cutscenes are just done through art as opposed to just straight up how it looks. That game has a CRT mode, bro. They're like, we want you to look like you're playing a PS1 game. But yeah, I'm looking like you're not wrong. I'm looking forward to Samurai Uni as well. I really want to know when it's coming. Is there anything on a potential?
I didn't mean to skip everything. I just
no. We're not even skipping. It's just everything's here, so we can still talk about them. It's fine. Just want to know,
bro. Here's the actual gameplay with the guns. Yeah, bro. This is like Resident Evil 4, but on PS1. But like, oh my god, what a find!
It's really cool.
You know it's good if I start shouting about it, man. Like, shoot.
What a
as
find.
that Metal Gear vibes.
All right, let me see. So, it's also got a Kickstarter project that's up here. It is Mythcraft. It is a complete tabletop RPG. It's called Mythcraft Saga. You guys should probably go take a look at this, especially with, I'm not gonna say any names, but a certain debacle involving other tabletop companies. You may want to look into other ones just in case the one that everyone plays seems to not have your best interests in mind.
Yeah.
But this one's definitely on here. It hasn't started its official project launch, so that everyone can start funding it and everything. But it's worth looking into. It's pretty, like they said, it's a brand new tabletop RPG universe. The systems feature complex character creations, rich combat, and huge expanding universe. I hope the campaign starts off with real strong, because I want to look at more of what this has to come. But I felt like it was worth putting out there for those that might want to check out something new.
Yeah, I think there should be more tabletop. Like, there are a bunch, but you know what I mean? Like, an expansive world that's as big as D&D, that would be cool to see more of.
And considering that, obviously D&D is the most popular, but, considering how the recent controversies have been, let's just look for other things. It's a good time to start looking for other things just in case. You don't have to have yourself attached to this one company. Especially
Cyberpunk Red ever come out?
I don't know.
I haven't heard anything about it.
Just look that up.
I was going to say, I didn't hear anything. I know it was supposed to come out with,
Cyberpunk Red out. It is out.
Wow.
Damn.
All right, there you go. Cyberpunk Red is out.
Well,
I'll be sure to jump into that at some point.
We would have played Cyberpunk 2020, but that was a little too complex, man. God, I hated that. Yeah, Flair, you had to move, right? You had to roll for that, but then you also had to roll for aim, roll for accuracy, roll for damage, and then roll for the body part. And it was like, oh, that's so fun.
You have to do 5 rolls to do anything.
Yeah. You have to rolling for the aim and then rolling for accuracy is the weirdest thing I've seen.
I'm pretty sure that's how it went anyways. I could be wrong, but it was strange.
It's been a minute since we played it, so I don't blame you if you're a little iffy on the details. But I know what you mean, where it was just a lot of the stuff for the old version of Cyberpunk was very tedious.
Mm-hmm.
Next up we got Onirism, which look, man, this looks fun, bro. You're playing as like this little girl. It reminds me a little bit of Hat in Time, but you have a gun and a dash. It's like, so if you liked Hat in Time and you wanted to play a platformer that lets you shoot, and honestly, any third person shooter that gives you a dash is kind of on my good side. I've said this before. That's just how that works. That's what's happening in this game. It's got a bunch of themes, a lot of like changes ups. It's a, like I said, platformer with the. It looks like you're almost dooming it a little bit.
Doom child.
But obviously they got vehicles going on. It's looking kind of fun. This gameplay trailer. When was this?
You look like a little girl with a gun in Spyro's remastered world.
Oh, and I see you also just play Mario Kart randomly at some point.
Yeah, like you suddenly you're just playing Mario Kart. I think I saw her do something here at some point. Yeah, she gets a stand. Apparently, a lot of people playing things with stands.
I need to keep going on JoJo. I want to see the stands. I'm tired of Hammond.
It's a good time to catch up because JoJo Part 9, JoJo World.
Yeah, well, I finished Battle Tendency finally. I'm ready to actually start JoJo, you know?
Damn.
JoJo experience.
But this one looks cool. Variations on levels are crazy. Variations on costumes are crazy. I see that they have decided to go the route of having what seems to be an underwater level. We'll see how this plays out. Because everyone knows water levels are kind of trash. But besides this,
wow,
kind of fun.
what is
it has a first person
Tommy
mode?
gun?
That's what I'm saying. She got dynamite in a
Is
Tommy
this a
gun.
JoJo reference?
She got the
Yeah,
boom
it
stick
looks like
wiki.
it's having her go to various different worlds too. So like this cowboy, there's like an Arabian theme, like Arabian Nights kind of themed world. There's we saw the Tommy gun we talked about for a second, where she's like on a train as like a bandit. There's one in the future, looks like. And like a mech outfit. It's a vibe.
This
Onirism.
is crazy.
Check it out.
When does this one come out?
That's what I'm saying. What is it even on? I would love to know where it's Steam powered. There we go. It is currently in early access. $17.
Okay, that might be worth the top. I wonder, is it just multiplayer
yeah.
or is it the single player?
It looks like it's single player.
'Cause it does-
Yeah, single player. It has split screen though. It has
Yeah.
co-op and PvP.
I'm about to say, yeah, like I'm looking at some gameplay right now of like some like a PvP mode that looks pretty sick actually.
Yeah, it's single player, and then it has a split screen co-op and a split screen PvP. That could be fun. That could be very fun.
God, all this movement and yeah, this would be toxic with PvP.
full on PvP. Toxic shit.
The person was just running around, jumping, dashing through the air, using the stand, getting super speed, teleporting around. I was like, oh yeah, nah, I would freaking hate having to shoot people in this.
Like more than one person that can do this at a time. I'm like, what am I supposed to fucking do?
God, you're not catching on anyone if they run away.
So we're checking out the artist now, Tay B, or Pixel Tay on Twitter. They're putting out some sick looking stuff, bro. They have this very sick looking graffiti cartoon style that they got going on that everyone should probably check out and enjoy, just because lots of cool looking perspective work going on. Like this one right here with I think it's a cat. Looks sick.
I do like this.
Mad Neko, yeah, this one's sick. There's like some really dynamic looking poses and stuff like that. You guys should check it out. Poppy
Are you
colors.
talking about the cat with the skateboard and the bat?
Nah, it's called Mad Neko, and it's further down. It's orange. The main color is orange.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the best way I can describe it.
Nelnalium. This guy's got cool names.
Oh wow, this one's kind of fun. There's one with the sneakers. Oh, his eyes are on. That's kind of clean.
Oh, there's Neko Orange.
The
or Mad
sneaker head
Neko.
one is kind of sick.
How
But
far
yeah,
down is
got some
sneaker
sick ass. Damn, this is sick. You know, we got some sick ass art going on. Always check out this kind of stuff. Support
Oh,
artists.
sneakerhead.
Yeah, sneakerhead. Oop.
Who dat? Oh, we
Seems
lost Flair.
Seems like we might have lost Flair. See,
Great,
that's
more
where,
art for me to save.
no, we'll just keep it moving. We lost Flair for a second.
Yeah.
Let's see what else. What else we got on here? I missed the thing. There it is. Let's go here. See what else we got. Oh, we have a artist and a game developer, Chai Bonsu, I believe it is. Let's see what it is. They're making they're making this mech game. I don't know what it's called. They don't have a name for it yet, or at least I can't translate the name for it yet. But they're making like a top-down mech game that kind of gives me Zone of the Ender vibes. It's extreme Zone of the Ender vibes, but it's just it's just top down.
How far down?
Yeah, you just go to media and it's like the first thing, and then you go down a little bit
Oh,
more, and
I
it's in
keep
there,
forgetting
too.
you can click on meet. Oh, I gotta log in. All right, hold on.
Yeah, it's even got the little circle to let you know when you're like in the zone is the end. Like someone's been playing Zone of the Enders. So it looks awesome. Kinda can't wait to mess
Making
around
me
with
make
that
a
one.
dang
But that was gonna
account.
be a minute before that one comes out. But like they said, they do a lot of different kind of arts as well. So you can always check out their stuff that they post. They do a lot of like pixel art, and they're designing a game. So got double sided on that one. Animator and literally it says animator, game designer, and handyman. So that's fun.
Freaking Twitter, man! I swear.
Next up, we got Photogeist. Photogeist
There's
looks cool.
the top-down mech. That looks cool. That's all I wanted to say. I had to make a new account and everything just to say that. I used
Damn.
the wrong email. Whatever.
So Photogeist is the best way I can describe this is it's a Pokemon game, but it revolves around the idea of like taking pictures of. It's like if Pokemon and
Fatal Frame
Fatal Frame, yeah, that's the game I was looking for. Fatal Frame had a baby.
had a baby. Yeah. Looks kind of cool.
The art style.
Oh yeah, it's Ghosts. Okay.
Kind of can't wait for that one out.
And it's got GameCube graphics.
Yeah, like really clean looking GameCube, like very sharp GameCube graphics.
I've said it, I don't know, some 10,000 times on the podcast, just in general, but I love this push for like classic gaming looks. Because now that we have the technology to do whatever we want, you can go make whatever you wanted from back then with that visual style now, and it's just, it's super cool.
And then on top of that, it can look even better than it could have looked back then. So
Exactly.
like this one, like Shadow Geist is a perfect example where it's way sharper and way more like contorted, and like there's special little things you can do with it that you probably couldn't have done back then, but it looks better now because you have the technology to make it not only look good, but it looks sharper. It looks like you can refine it into an even more interesting thing.
Yeah. Or just like the unicorn one. Like, that was PS1 look through and through, but clearly way ahead of its time,
Yeah.
I'm excited to see, like, over the next, like, 10 years what comes out with that look,
All right.
That look and this look. I like this GameCube look. It's giving me, like, almost Wind Waker vibes.
And finally, we have I think it's Melis Hamtani is what they're called, is what their name is, or Hamtani on Twitter. What was the game? Yeah, that's what it was. They had they had like an isometric, almost Zelda-like going on. It looked really cool. I liked how the level design was looking, from what they were designing so far and how it vibed. It the HUD actually reminds me a lot of Mega Man Legends, genuinely, with the way they did it. It's like they kind of made like a more I guess melee focused Mega Man Legends game, but with a fixed camera angle and just set things. They did some really cool, interesting choices on it.
Is that the actual music from the game? I'm
I'm
assuming.
assuming so.
Oh my gosh, it's lovely.
What is it called though? What is the game called? In the ocean. It doesn't actually say. Kind of sad though, because I can't actually find the name of it. Let me see.
Testing out how exploration works in the overworld.
Yeah, I can't. I can't find the name. Let me think.
Wait, I might have found it. No, this person has a blog post though. That's what?
Also, welcome back, Blair.
Sorry, I don't know what the heck happened to my computer. Managed
That's
to
fine.
recover my audio, and I have it playing right now, recording still.
Okay,
That's all good.
that's perfect. But so Flair, I'll just let you know. You should probably go look at the. I think we continued to like 2 other things while you were gone. So you should probably want to look at where was it? You look at Onirism, Pixel which was the graffiti art style stuff that was happening, and I think it's Cha Buzu or Bozu, something like that. Sorry if I'm butchering these names. But
I
they have
found the
some
name,
pretty
but
sick stuff
continue.
going on. But they have a Zone of the Enders game that's like a top-down one too.
Ooh.
And then we went to Photogeist as well. Photogeist is probably the one that you'll find the most interesting because it is Fatal Frame mixed with Pokemon.
All right. I Pokemon Snap Ghosts.
Pretty much. And you use them to fight for you.
That's
Okay, so Melos Han is I think the Hey, okay, so no, I don't know. I think that's actually the person that does the music for whatever company those games are, and it says Analgesic Games 5 is the hashtag for this game. So I don't know what the hell it is, but
So if they're working on the
let me
music,
test
that's
that
actually
music
better.
though, See if that's actually
So then the game itself is
Analgesic 5 or
Sophie.
whatever. It's
Sophie. Yeah, based on you helping me with that
One,
one.
two,
Yeah,
three,
it's Sophie.
4. Well, that could be their other games because it's their 5th game, Analgesic Game 5. I keep saying that because that's the tag, but I got nothing else going.
I'll put it in the chat. But the game I wanted, like the music for it is great, honestly, and go check them out. It says that they're actually on Spotify, so if you look at that. But the game for it is
And I also posted a game for keep an eye out.
Right. Let me go ahead and see that one.
So I'll explain it while you look. Isles of Adalar. It looks a little rough around the edges, but it looks like Morrowind, but made by a different company. And it also goes third or first person in the action. I'm not sure if it's Skyrim or Morrowind gameplay, but it looks like a spiritual successor to the game.
That's always a vibe.
That's really cool.
And like I was saying, I want more of these first-person RPG games. This one actually has crafting in it too. And then I think an event designer or something.
Let me take a look. Where are you? There we go. Oh yeah, I definitely see it. It looks really like Morrowind.
And
the combat actually looks a bit fast. Actually, looks way less clunky than most of the Skyrim games. Actually, looks to me
it's
kind of fun in comparison to those games.
I agree. Apparently, too, what they're doing is they're shipping it with an RPG maker inside it, so it's an integrated level editor and Steam Workshop support. So it's like Skyrim. You know, you got your mod support.
But like, okay, it's like $19 right now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's really cool.
The music in that trailer too sounds just like Morrowind or
that's on early access.
Anything
too.
by what's his name, Jeremy Soule.
All right, that's a vibe. I like both of these. All right, so let me go ahead and put that on the thing. And there we go. Well, guys, without further ado, that is going to bring this episode of Paper Play Action to a close. So, I appreciate you guys coming out. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Flair.
No problem.
For joining me on this episode.
Fun every time.
Also, I want to just thank the audience for sticking with us. It's nice to be on this third season now, and we appreciate you guys for being with us for 2 years now. It's at this point, so we're going on our third. Let's keep it going. Keep up the same energy.
Thank you.
Actually, let's crank up more energy more than anything. As you guys know, because I'll just do the basic rundown as always. So, hey, if you want to send any questions to us at paperplayaction@gmail.com, you can answer it here on the show. It's paperplayaction@gmail.com. You should also go and follow us on Twitter, where you'll actually get a ton of these games that we talk about and keep an eye on. We constantly post them and look at different things and follow them a bit more so that you guys can have more information on them. Make sure that you guys can see what's up. As well as just obvious updates and things like that that come through with everything going on with the channel and everything that's happening with us in general. Obviously, more than anything, we appreciate you guys. More than anything, we just would like you guys to just spread the love, talk about the show more than anything else. But if you would like to donate in any capacity, all donations, 20% of those donations go to a charity of our choosing. We will choose a charity each month. This has always been a thing, and something that we should probably just be sure to mention just in case those that forget. It's a thing. As well as on top of that, we have the 2 chip jars. There's one that's on Twitter, which is through our Koji, and then also like the Twitter one that's also there, as well as the Cash App one if you wish to use it, which is Paper Play Action on that as well. So we have plenty of options for tip jars if you guys want to use them, but you know, either way, they'll at least 20% will be going to a charity of our choosing. On top of that, let's talk about a little bit of we just want to thank you all for being with us more than anything else. I'm trying to remember what the last thing. Maybe I kind of forgot how to do this a little bit, but I think we're good either way.
Well, what is the subject?
No, just we're closing out. I just forgot something. I feel like I forgot something in the closing out statements, but it'll be fine. You guys will be fine without it for like one episode. I'll remember it next time. Y'all know the deal.
It'll be alright.
Like and subscribe.
Which you can do now, I guess. That's the thing. But without further ado, we'll bring this episode to a close. Good night, everybody.
Peace.
Night, guys. Have a good